So there's been a request to have additional conversation sort of the end of the previous night. So still you are in the clockwork heart amongst all of the paraphernalia of the Goblin's Workshop. And Esmond's tinkering with the automaton that's sort of, at this point, probably open, in a portion of the room. Kabath, Seifrid, and Aurea have already headed out for the evening, while the rest of you are still lingering for a few moments more.
Okay. Ava's sort of looks around at the different items. They're sort of on the table, and wishes that she'd caught the others before they went to bed. But just decides that sort of shakes her head and thinks about it and sort of looks at the others and takes a sort of a deep breath and just says, I know that sometimes, a lot of times, you just sort of go along with things, and it's sometimes I'm glad that I do. Casey, and you often try to convince me to do things, and I haven't, but they've been kind of fun sometimes, even if they're not always smart. But this is dumb. We're being really dumb, and we shouldn't. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, this is what I've been saying too. We should tell a grown-up. We should tell the justice.
Yeah.
Agreed. Especially after we found that dynamite.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get him. I know it's late, but if anyone's afraid of being in trouble, then you can just go home. But I don't think we're gonna get in trouble for this, and that's fine. But if you don't want to say that you had any involvement, then you should leave the item here. I won't say anything if you want to lie and say it was lost or we never got it or something, but I don't think that people should leave and pretend they were never here and keep things that aren't theirs. So if they don't bring them back, I guess I'm just gonna tell them that they have them.
I wouldn't necessarily tell on our friends. We can just say, hey, this is what we all found, and leave them out of it altogether. We don't need to mention a damn thing about our friends that's going to incriminate them. But I think we should return what all is left here. I mean, I already put what I tried on back, and it didn't glow all fancy for me. So I'm with you, Ava. I'll lug it to whomever, call whomever. I'll go along with you. I know sometimes it's easier when I do the talking when we're together, just, with certain folks.
It's fine. We can talk to him. It's just telling him information, and I can do that. I'm not worried about it. But
you might need to do a little charming to make sure that he doesn't look into the whole why were we in the mines thing and where were our friends at thing.
Esmond will kind of perk up. I already said I would talk to whoever I needed to in the morning, but I guess we can do it tonight. There's no issue with letting them know that we were in the mines because I was looking for tools for the project for the flower festival coming up.
And it's not allowed, it's just dangerous.
It's a borderline. We're on the border of that one, I think, but that's not the point. My point being that I can take the blame on this one is what I'm offering, since the idea initially came from me. Obviously come with me. If anyone else would like to try and corroborate the story and make it more believable, that's fine. Just know that anyone that comes may get into some kind of trouble. That's kind of what it boils down to, I think. But I do agree, Ava, that we are honestly better off just returning everything or providing everything to the sheriff while we can. I don't know if it's worth trying to catch Kibeth, Seyfried, and Araya, see if they have anything. I know Araya had shit. I know that she had a ring.
No, I'm telling you, forget that. That is not our business. We should pretend we didn't even see it. Why would we tell on our friends? Like, we're all going to go off to the war front together in 3 weeks. I think it's more important that we know we can trust each other, even when we're doing what we think's the right thing.
Just a small note, just so the characters are on the same page. I know that Seyfried had said that she didn't confess to having the bracelet, but you were all there. There's a pile of stuff, so you're very aware of who took what.
We know that there were 10 pieces of jewelry, and now there are 7.
Well, I think you were physically there together, so like you saw each other take things or not take things.
Yeah, we were all trying them on and stuff.
I did not try anything on.
Right, but wasn't like Doc like decked out?
Oh yeah.
Which is probably where this extra guilt is coming from. Just saying.
Yeah, we look at her Doc and she still has like a tennis bracelet on.
Yeah, I think it's a tiara.
Very seriously, she's just forgotten it's on her head.
No,
it's just so natural.
It's a circlet, so it's the thing that like rests in the center of the forehead.
Yeah, I think she would be probably, while she was saying this, she's probably fidgeting with it in her hands and sort of nervously.
But just a reminder, so the circlet that Ava has, the faceted gems have a very subtle glow to them.
Okay, I don't mind going with you, Esmond. I don't think we'll get in that much trouble, and that's why it's so important to do the right thing most of the time, is because then people will give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not worried about getting in trouble for this. I don't think we will.
I'm not necessarily looking to do the right thing. It's more that this is becoming way more troublesome and potentially dangerous than I think that we can handle on our own. And to be clear, to be clear, Peach, I wasn't saying that we rat out everyone else. I was suggesting that we try and gather all the items together before we hand everything over. But if it's too much trouble to hunt them down, or if we would rather just return everything as soon as or give everything to the sheriff as soon as we can, then I said let's just go ahead and get it over with.
Well,
I was just going to say, what does Salinger say?
Yeah. While I completely agree with all of your intentions in principle, when you're talking about more trouble than it's worth, when you're talking about doing the right thing, it seems to me maybe the right thing is going directly to the source before taking it to the authorities. We haven't directly confronted any of the dwarves about this, and give them a chance to explain themselves before we take it into the law's hands. That's what we'd want for us. What if it's just a misunderstanding?
Do we know? We don't know that it is the dwarves.
Who else would
You
be in the
talk to them,
mines?
right?
I talked to them some, but I mean, I feel like showing the sheriff what we found is important. We don't know who did it. He'll look into it. We just show him what it was, and he can secure it.
It's a simple matter of providing all the details, all the materials that we found to the sheriff, explaining the situation without implying that who may or may not be at fault, because that's information that we don't have.
Exactly.
I understand, though, what Salinger's saying. Should we maybe talk to the dwarves and see first?
I want to take this to the sheriff right now. I don't want to wait, and I don't think going to the dwarves in the middle of the night would be productive.
Well, you'd know. You're the one who keeps popping by their pub.
I definitely wouldn't have suggested going to bother any dwarves in the middle of the night. More just sleep on it and then take this to the sheriff in the morning if that's what we all decide.
Can we take it to the sheriff now? I got a chicken in my room.
The chicken is probably already lost somewhere in your room. You won't find it for at least a day.
Alright, well, just think about it. Let's say we go with what I said, and we bring everything to the sheriff. Then he goes and talks to the dwarves. If there's nothing that's bad about what they're doing, then he talks to them directly. And if there was something bad, then he finds that out. Why do we need to ask them?
He's the sheriff for the reason. I don't think it's our business to try and interrogate or gather information from the dwarves, because we don't even know if they're involved at all.
And what is the general opinion of the sheriff and the mayor?
Well, that might vary, but
Tell us each our individual interaction.
Well, I don't have all of those, but what I would say is that you probably the person who has been the barrier to the most fun in your life has probably been the sheriff and the deputies. Though the sheriff has a deputy a bit older than you guys, who is a son, but he went off to serve the North, so he's left 2 months ago. So the sheriff has never been overly mean, unnecessarily mean to you or something like that. But you've always had in the back of your head, oh, if we run and play and do this, we're going to get in trouble, and it's going to be Sheriff Hain who gives the scolding.
How often do drugs go missing from their evidence room? I'm just kidding. Okay, so, well, yeah, I think Ava's pretty much set the position. She wants to try to take it to him tonight, and that's where she feels like is the right thing to do.
Well, we'll do it in character.
Oh, alright. So yeah, I think we should just take it to him. I don't think that anyone will get in trouble. We're not trying to implicate anybody in particular. He'll just hold on to it and look into it, and maybe he'll even ask for our help. Like, Esmond, you're really good at, probably trying to figure out, the history of those things, and he'll probably let you do that.
He's down a deputy.
Sheriff Penning doesn't like getting bothered in the middle of the night as much as any of those old dwarves. I think we should leave it till the morning. Casey's had his back to the group, messing with stuff on the table the whole conversation. This is the first time he's chimed up.
So what's he messing with?
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm stacking gears as high as I can.
Also, to be fair, Esmond, given how much time you spend with Casey, I don't know as you are the sheriff's favorite child either.
I'm not concerned about being a favorite. I just want to make sure that whatever story is given to the sheriff is one that is easily corroborated and can be led back to the idea guy.
So,
okay.
I agree with all of you in principle. I haven't wanted to take this stuff from the beginning. I wish we'd just left it in the mine in the first place. That probably would have been the best course of action, though some of those things are incredibly pretty, and I can't blame you for picking them up, putting them on, playing with them. I certainly want to. My objection isn't that I'm worried about us being found at some fault or guilt or getting in trouble. It's that we found somebody else's stuff in a place where we weren't supposed to be. We're about to hand them over to somebody with the presumption that they were doing something wrong with those things. That's why I wanted to talk to the dwarves first. I feel a little responsible, guilty that we took them out of a place and we're just going to hand them off to someone else. And they have to go explaining something they might not even... I don't know.
The presumption
I
here
wouldn't want
is
that done to me.
The presumption here is that they belong to someone else and they weren't just abandoned in the mines.
Well, yeah, and we took it, as opposed to just telling the authorities that something wasn't supposed to be there was.
To our credit, we're not necessarily sheriffs or deputies. We don't have the mind for thinking these things through. We're not ones to investigate things. The sheriff is trained exactly for this kind of situation.
I just feel bad about it. Basically
It's-
grew up in that pub listening to songs and all them. If I don't want to get them in trouble anymore, then I want to get any of you in trouble.
You grew up in that pub? I'm pretty sure you pretty much grew up in my pub, Salinger.
I grew up in every pub. My mom's played every single one in town. Yours my favorite 'cause it's got the cool stuff on the walls.
Yeah, I'm gonna head home. Salinger, come along with me. And she kind of gives him a look and an elbow.
Well, hold on. Before you guys leave, let's put it to a vote. To O's point, Doc, I think we should wait until the morning. It might alleviate the blowback that we may receive. Those in favor of returning everything tonight, raise your hands.
Returning it to the mine.
Say that again. We couldn't quite make that out.
Returning it to the mine? What do you mean return?
Sorry, providing it to the sheriff is what he meant. My bad.
I don't want to return it. I just want to tell him where it is.
I mean, not tonight. It can wait.
That is also the timing is a different question from the what.
I don't understand why we're waiting.
Because it is late, and people are very grumpy when it is late generally. They think clearer on sleep. As if reminded, she yawns enormously. Little fangs popping out.
How about I just go and tell him, and then in the morning he can talk to anyone else?
No.
I think that's a great idea.
Nope, I think that's a bad idea. All right, fine. Doc, you and I will go return things now. If anyone else cares to join us, then let's do that. Unless anyone is anyone that is against providing all the weapons and the magic things to the sheriff tonight, right now, please raise your hand.
If we abandon the vote so quickly. Clink.
You know my stance. I'd rather talk to the people that might own it first. But I won't stop you.
I think we should tell the sheriff, but I think this is all something that can wait for morning.
Okay, well, that's 2 to everybody else. So we're going to take these items and we're going to run by the sheriff and we're going to deal with whatever consequences there may be. We won't implicate anyone else aside from those that are immediately there to talk to the sheriff, so no one has anything to worry about there.
I think
Wait.
The vote. I think we lost the vote.
Yes, 2 to taking it to the sheriff against 4 people is much less, I think. I am not good at math as you are, but I can count.
No, it was...
We're all waiting until at least tomorrow to do anything.
So, yeah, when you were just out of character, Kevin, the 4 of them are saying we're going to wait for the morning. The 2 of us wanted to go tonight. So it's 4
Oh,
to
I
wait.
implied a different question. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we'll just wait until the morning then.
Well, we should put the sticks of dynamite somewhere that's not inside. This is the most dangerous place it could be, probably.
Oh, those are not staying in my shop. I want those as far away from me as possible. Those are just so we can keep an immediate eye on them. But I want those. I want those gone.
I
Gone,
can take
please.
them to the harbor. You are close to the docks. She is still standing there holding the bucket of water over them, just ready to let loose.
No, don't drown them. We heard that ships aren't even coming in regularly. They missed shipments. That's a resource. I mean, it depends on if you use them for good things or bad things. But we shouldn't destroy it.
I will take them outside onto the edge of town and bury them or hide them somewhere that is far away from buildings. And come back here in the morning. I can tell you where. I do not mean to hide it from everyone else. I just do not wish it to be accidentally dug up or explode. I don't know if they just decide to explode or. And then she's just going to name like someplace. This is the road out of town. On the way to the ranch, there's that rock that looks like 2 people fighting. I'll put it around there.
Yeah, you don't know too much about explosives, but they look a little nervous. They're sweating just a bit.
Oh my god. Okay, well, if there's like an extra crate or something to put on it, Ava will go with Shell to just set it on top her, basically, so it's not exposed to the elements. And then I guess, well, we'll wait till the morning.
Before we all break, who all is going to go to the sheriff to give everything away and give a story?
Tomorrow,
I
sure.
know I'm going to.
If you want us all there, we'll be there.
The fewer people, the better, probably.
Oh.
Sorry. It's more. Not everyone has to be there. It can be a small group of us that can explain away the situation, and it doesn't implicate anybody else. It's also.
Would it not be better for you to be giving watch over the things in the workshop? You have the most reason to be here.
Yeah,
Whereas if it
and
was me or Peach or Salinger here, they'd ask why we are here.
Oh no, I intend to keep everything here, and I'll sleep in the shop tonight. That's not an issue. It's not unexpected either. I have no problem doing that. I'm just trying to determine who all is going to meet up at the sheriff's tomorrow to try and explain the situation.
And I am saying that if we want someone to be staying watch over it all the time, other people can also go to the sheriff without. You're the most sensible one to stay here to keep an eye on it all the time.
I think they mean to carry it to the sheriff's.
No, I mean to keep it here.
We can just keep it here. The
sheriff. You mean they mean to carry it to the sheriff?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
We don't have to haul it across town in
Yeah.
daylight.
Yeah, she looks at this huge bag of weapons, some of
maybe
which are
tomorrow,
like.
maybe let's tell the sheriff, and then he and maybe other folks who are more trained to deal with this kind of thing can safely come here and remove it.
Yeah, that seems the best. Just tell him what we found, and then he can come and pick it up from the shop. And I'll go in the morning to talk to him, or I can stay here with the stuff. I don't mind. I stay out late sometimes, so that I won't be missed.
If you get the sheriff, just bring him here, and again, it all leads back to me. So that's really what the story should boil down to. I think just to keep it as simple as possible.
Okay, so we'll meet back at the shop in the morning around dawn, and then whoever wants to stay here can stay, and whoever wants to go to the sheriff, we can go together. And if you don't want to be involved, you just don't have to show up.
I wouldn't miss it.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Okay. Salinger, can you help me get the chicken down from my rafters?
Yes, fine.
On their way out, as I presume people are starting to scatter now, Shalasi stops Salinger and says quietly to him, I understand, and I think I agree with your point, but if it is the dwarves, then, and nothing bad is going on, then I do not think they should be facing anything. The sheriff is not a bad man after all.
Yeah. I don't know, I just like to give people the benefit of the doubt, let them explain themselves, so thanks for saying that.
She just nods and lets him go, and then starts to waddle off very carefully with the explosives under her pants.
Yeah.
I feel like at least Sal, probably Peach too, watched nervously as you walk away for quite some time before they're capable of going anywhere else.
Yeah, Peach would be like elbowing Sal and like gesturing after Shalati, like, should we help her? Should she come with us? What? She's got a bomb in her dress.
If anybody can handle it, she can. Just
Ava's gonna go with her and bring a crate to cover it.
Charles like, you should stand over there. At least some good distance.
Yeah, she will. If she says to do that, they walk on opposite sides of the street or something.
Looking totally not suspicious at all. But yeah, she'll head to that space that she mentioned by the rocks that look like two fighting people, and
Well, that's
kind of-
that's where you're on the way to now.
yeah.
Okay. So where is everyone else as you guys split off from each other? First question. The satchel, it's not really satchel, it's a canvas wrap of all of the weapons that you'd found. Is anyone interacting with that? You're leaving it in the workshop?
All the weapons and all the magic items, or the ones that we have at least, are hidden away in the workshop.
Okay. So you like put them on a low shelf under a work table and cover them with crap?
Pretty much, yeah. And Esmond is going to be staying the night at the shop.
Sounds good. Where's everyone else? We know where Shal's going. Ava, Casey.
Ava's going with Shao. She's gonna help her to cover the stuff so it's not just sitting exposed overnight.
I think she probably would have borrowed a shovel from the workshop. So.
Okay.
You have a shovel.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think I left the shovel at the workshop, so yeah, I'll be taking the farm shovel.
Take back your own shovel.
Please bring back my wrench. I need that. Thank you.
Casey puts another gear on the stack and says, "Do you want me to hang out with here with you tonight, Ez?"
I mean, you can if you want. I'm gonna be. I gotta do some research into this issue with the compasses. That neither me or my parents have caught this until now, so I don't know. I'm gonna be spending the night messing with compasses and doing research. So hang on out if you want. It's not really your cup of tea necessarily.
Yeah, I might go for a walk for a little bit, but I'll be back.
Casey, please roll a test of your character's physical precision to see how well you've stacked these gears.
Do not make a mess in my workshop. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do it!
His physical precision.
how good is he at darts?
Right, yeah. Like movements of my own body I'm very precise with. I've done a lot of parkour and stuff like that, but I'd say he's decent at it. I mean, he knows how to step with ease and whatnot. So I'll get a +4 on this guy. Or plus add a D4.
It's an 11 plus 2 for 13. Stack's pretty high. It's not your best work.
Leave this here. I'm gonna add to it when I get back.
Natural. Yeah, I won't touch it.
Quick out of character. There have been earthquakes regularly. What are you doing?
Making a mess of my workshop.
No, we have the cause of the earthquakes. It just went out the door.
Okay. Sal and Peach, two of you broken off from the group. You're walking away through the streets of town. Give us a little scene.
Peach is skipping along quickly. Sal is probably not needing to move fast to keep up. Yeah. And as she does, she kind of grabs onto his sleeve or something and says, "So let's go tell the dwarves."
You know, they're not wrong about dwarves being generally grumpy, but especially grumpy in the middle of the night. It's not going to go well.
But I
Maybe
mean,
we
that was
talk.
your idea anyway. I mean,
It's a look. It was my idea, therefore, by default, it was an excellent idea. But
even Shalati agrees. I was almost like, "Come with us, girl," but then I remember she had bombs in her pants.
Shalati agrees in principle, the same way I agree was the right decision. But we are a. I don't want to break their trust that way. In the morning, same time. That way, it's not interfering with what they're doing. We'll go talk to the dwarfs. Give them a heads up at least. Though I appreciate you trying to drag me along to get what I wanted, even though it wasn't the right thing to do. That's nice of you.
I mean, I've got to encourage you to do the bad things you want to do. That's just making me a good friend.
Mm-hmm. Like those spicy peppers you made me eat without telling me what they actually were.
I told you it would give you superpowers, and it's not my fault that you believe me, Salander.
Or like the time you told me that glue was actually soup and my teeth were stuck together for 4 hours.
Oh, please, you drank glue. I don't
What I'm
think that one's
saying
really
is,
on me.
well, what I'm saying is your encouragement, while well-intentioned, is 50-50 at best. Let's go find that chicken.
All right, thank you. Tall enough to reach the ceiling, at least.
All right, Ava and Shalati, as you guys are moving towards the place you're gonna bury these crates of mining explosive. Yeah, can paint us tell us about that.
Just thought that she's carefully waddling along, says quietly, "This honestly might be the dumbest thing I've ever willingly undertaken."
It definitely has to be up there. So, are you sure we should bury it? I just wanted to cover it. If we bury it, won't it be like a cannon? And if they have to unbury it, won't they have to dig it out?
I don't know. I don't know anything about these things. I just thought that if there was dirt on top, there would be more stuff in them. So maybe it wouldn't hit anything, or it wouldn't go as far. Also, it's hidden better that way.
That's true. We could just have to make sure we don't put it someplace that. Well, I don't guess no one's. Wait, what if an animal tries to dig it up like a dog or something?
Well, I guess we don't actually have the concept of Darwinism.
That's fair. No. Anyway, so yeah, she just continues.
Well, the dog should have made better choices.
You say as you walk with them in your pants.
Describe to me a little bit. So, how are you carrying these?
She had when they were taking them from the mine. I guess at first I thought that they were crates, and then they were described as being somewhat smaller. So when they were trying to sneak around, she sort of bundled them under her wide-legged trousers / skirts.
Okay, yeah, they're like shoe boxes.
Yeah, so they're sort of hidden under there, making weird boxy shapes occasionally as she takes a step.
Okay.
I am in my head picturing Shalati's just making this long walk, looking like she just completely shit her pants.
She either completely had diarrhea or is just like incredibly constipated. One way or the other. Nothing good is going on down there.
All right, I'm immature. Sorry.
Before too long, you've made your way to the edge of town to this notable rock that you guys are all familiar with. Remind me, what is this? What is this place?
I don't know. I just made it up as a landmark to bury a thing by.
No,
Useless rock.
What was like the description?
Oh, it's the rock that looks like two people fighting.
Okay.
Is that commonly known as that, or is that just what Shalati thinks it looks like?
I think that's just what she thinks it looks like.
It looks like it's a rock that looks like something else to everybody.
There's been some debate.
Oh my god.
She's in the fighting camp.
No one agrees.
As you
Some
guys
people think it's blue.
as you guys are approaching the rock, actually, and you see its shape, make me a perception check, each of you.
18.
Yeah. So Ava, you look at it, and you're like, well, it could kind of look like people fighting. Charlotte, you hear like a thudding sound behind you, a little bit of a scrape.
Like directly behind or from the ground?
No, from behind you, like at the edge of town.
She puts up her hand towards Ava and then turns around to look in that direction.
Spin around. Don't see anything, but you know you heard something.
And toward Ava and says, Did you hear that?
Here.
But there
what?
was a... She's whispering, but for perception she is. A scrape or some kind of thud directly behind. Then she points toward the area that she thought she heard it from.
Ava just looks that direction into the dark, but probably.
I'm just looking at the hill, the crest of some of the buildings at the very edge of town.
Does it sound like a chicken?
No, you didn't hear any like clucking sounds or anything like that. But it was like somebody. It's the sound you might expect if somebody knocks something over.
I didn't hear anything.
She's gonna move behind the rocks, like not interposing the rocks between herself and the source of the sound. And we'll dispose of the. she starts to hand the shovel to Ava and then looks very torn for a minute and then looks toward the place where the sound came from and then back toward the shovel and the boxes now piled on the ground. And says, "Do you think it's important? It probably isn't. Isn't that someone drunk going back late?"
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I didn't hear anything.
Completely ignoring that, Charlotte continues to speculate what the fact that Ava has no idea what she's talking about. Well, we don't, just in case, we don't want anybody seeing what we're doing here, though, just in case they come and dig it up later. Hold on. And then she is going to, she puts the shovel and the toes of boxes behind some grass behind the rocks, and then she'll wander back over in that direction. Actually, I think she's going to go at a dead run.
Okay. You take off in just a run. Okay. Yeah. As you run that way, roll me. Let me think about this. Yeah, like a test of sort of your character's aptitude for like herding animals, stuff like that. That's probably a good kind of test. But physically doing it yourself, like, that instinct for, and, if it's a chicken, it would run off, this way, and I could circle around.
Well, I guess she is very tired, because that was a 4 total.
4 total, yeah. You go running, you kind of skid in the dirt, you run another way, you come to a corner, the curve of one of the buildings, you look down, space between these houses. Nothing there. Roll me another perception check.
$11.
You see the smallest little, like the ember from a pipe maybe has been dropped on the ground. A little bit of grass. It's kind of curling and smoking just a little bit.
She walks over to it, crouches down, sniffs. It smells like pipe smoke.
You don't smell tobacco, but you do smell like the little bit of hint of smoke of like a burning piece of grass. But just like a little ember of it, and it goes out.
She grinds it out fully and then looks around, and if she doesn't see anything else, she's going to head back toward Ava.
Okay, yeah, you get back to Ava. There's no sign of whatever.
Ava's sort of clutching the shovel, looking around, a little anxious.
Salty just... I found there was something there. There was like a spark, like an ember on the ground. But I did not see anyone or anything.
Do you think Casey followed you?
I suppose I wouldn't put it past him. Why is he so obsessed with me today?
Ava just tries to, in a moment of trying to, obviously tired and nervous, but does the thing where she just looks Shalati up and down and then just sort of like smiles a little bit.
Shalati somewhat high blows, so this goes on with, this is really embarrassing that I lost my cool so much that I just outright yelled at him, but I'm so tired and he gets under my skin so much. He's so annoying. And she takes the shovel and just like into the ground and starts to vigorously dig a hole.
Yeah, after a few refreshingly exhaustive moments, you've dug a hole deep enough for these crates.
All right, unless you have any better idea of how to store these, so just put these in the ground and cover over.
I suppose. I guess that's fine. Just try to make sure the dirt doesn't get on top of it, and I guess we'll make it easy to dig it out with hands or something tomorrow. So don't pack it in too tight, I guess.
Okay. She will slowly, carefully lower the boxes down to the ground, kind of heap dirt around it, and then put another box and then heap a little more dirt in the box so that they have a thin layer in between them.
You're not really going to bury those boxes, are you? You hear a voice from around the corner of the rocks.
She just goes really still. And then keeps burying the boxes.
Maybe just sort of
As you are.
giggles.
I mean, free to do what you want, but it might not be the best idea.
Do you know something about dynamite that they shouldn't be buried?
I mean, I know it's much more useful not buried.
It's literally just for the night so that nobody stupid comes along and decides hey, this looks what would be fun if we set off all of these things at once.
Like I said, you're free to bury it if you like. Casey will kind of scramble up the rocks and lean back into a little spot that seems kind of like a seat and watch as she buries the rest of them.
She finishes burying them and then crosses her arms and looks up at him and then just seems to be waiting for him to leave.
Did you have something else?
I'm waiting for you to go.
It is kind of getting late. As they'll expect me back.
She maintains a dead silence.
Casey
then-
jumps down and turns back to her and says, "Let me know if you'd like to go back to that mine sometime." Doc?
So this flicker for a moment, but she continues to say nothing.
And then he nods to Doc. And then he runs off barefoot back towards Ez's workshop.
Ava just looks at Shalati, it just smiles.
Just looks over at Ava and then scowls.
Shalati and Casey sitting in a tree.
He had his chance. And then she will start to walk off and then says, "What do you think the chances are that he will simply double back and start to dig them up when we are not here?"
Oh, I sure hope not, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. But I don't think we should wait out here all night just to make sure he doesn't do something dumb. If you think that a dog that tries to dig it up should make better decisions, I think the same should go for Casey.
It would be a really stupid way to go.
But not entirely surprising. I think he's smart enough.
I'm sorry, go on.
I think he's smart enough to not do that. I don't think he would waste time. I mean, we can't. He's pretty much an adult anyway, so I mean, let's just go back.
You're probably right. And then she hefts the staff and the shovel together over one shoulder and we'll start to head back, I guess, home if they're going the same way or, going with Ava for however long their paths are parallel.
I would imagine. Are you going back to your farmstead?
Yeah.
You're probably going opposite directions.
Oh, okay, all right. In that case, then she will give Ava a hug, now no longer walking so awkwardly, and then we'll head off.
Yeah, but you managed to duck just in time as a shovel swings over your head. Okay. Let's see. Salinger and Peach. You would not have imagined that a chicken could snore, but it is. It seems to have constructed a nest out of stray things that were in your room, on top of the bookshelf. Its head's sunken down into its body. Just hear it snoring away.
Is Sean around? Is Sean here? Because if not, Peach will just have a moment. Oh, hey.
I had chocolate in my mouth. I had to finish chewing it.
I just wanted to make sure that there also wasn't Salinger snoring in Peach's room in the corner. So, should probably let it sleep, right?
They do say to never wake a sleeping chicken.
Who all says that? Who has ever said that?
I did, just now.
Yeah, but you're no they.
Cute, though. Snoring like that. Don't wake it up. I didn't know chickens snored.
I don't know much about chickens at all, actually. I don't know. I tried to talk to my mom today, I couldn't get in a word. She kept going about that, how dangerous the mines and everything were, and how we shouldn't have been out there. But she doesn't think this war's a real thing. She seems like it's going to be over, she says, before 3 weeks roll around. And I don't know, we're trying to find chickens and things. Are you scared? No one has come back.
Well, it's only been a couple months, and I hope she's right. Whatever it is gets solved in a couple weeks. Pa comes back, embarrassing as he is. Niles comes back, everybody that left come back. That'd be nice. I don't want to think about it enough to be scared. Catching these chickens has been a perfectly good distraction and an excellent use of our time, if you ask me.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring you down. It just...
Nah, look at that little guy. Look at him.
Yeah. What are we gonna get from the Fairfoots again?
Eggs for my quiche. You forgot my quiche. You're definitely tired. I'll see you in the
Eggs
morning,
for
eh?
your... Yeah, I mean, by that point, there may be eggs for your quiche here. I'll let you know.
Here's to hoping.
And
You know, talking to your mom's like talking to a brick wall sometimes. Just eventually it won't bounce off and she'll actually say something back to you.
I mean, she says what she thinks I want to hear, which is a good thing, I guess, but it's tough when you don't want to talk about just the good things, right? I'll see you tomorrow, Salinger. We'll go do the right thing and call the sheriff and do the blah, 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 blah.
Very responsible and respectful of you. See you in the morning, Peach. Then I'll leave.
In the north, the tower fills the horizon. Jagged mountains, tipped in white, barely distinguishable from the sky. Emov, wrapped in furs, pulls back the flap of a tent, ducks inside, steaming a tin cup of gruel in his hand. Sits down, a wooden crate, offers it to Nosgrid. Brought you here some soup. Keep you warm. Army givers made it. Sergeant says tomorrow we're marching north. Town of, they say, town of Sarathan. Should have some more answers. And Nosgrid takes the cup, cradles his hands, slurps from it audibly. Oh, I was prepared for the frost, not the mud. It's supposed to be all ice up here. Imov bundles his furs a little tighter, moves and stands at the flap of the tent, looking out across the seemingly endless fields, the kingdom's people that are gathered. Rows and rows of tents, sound of horses, mud, endless footprints, tower that fills the sky. It is very early, pre-dawn the next morning. Charlotte, did you still want to do a scene?
I think she's AFK.
Alright, let's take a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Chris, that scene! The music choice, I have chills. Bravo.
No, she's here.
Sam.
She's
I
here.
care about
She
those
says go
imaginary
ahead.
people.
Oh, she's back.
No, it's Ale. Hey, Ale.
Alessandra, welcome to the club.
Well, she says go ahead. She's not really here, but she says go ahead with the scene.
But she's in it. Let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay. It's time for tea.
Charlotte, it is the early pre-dawn hours when the mist is thick, town's still quiet. Even the farmers haven't gotten up yet. What's going on?
I actually, I guess I didn't see, had changed my mind, given the content of the decision coming out of the talk. So.
You gently snore, still asleep.
I wake up for a moment, hearing the maaz of the alpaca, and then go back to sleep.
What
Actually, it
are
is a
those
farm.
sound
I
like?
bet they'd probably get up at dawn anyway.
Alpaca mass. I don't know what those sound like.
I actually have no idea either. Couldn't think of it. I can make something up. It will sound horrible.
Oh, they just scream.
Yeah, headcanon. They're basically like roosters combined with screaming goats every morning.
It's just Wilhelm screams. It's just perfect Wilhelm screams.
She becomes really blasé about killing people just because she's so used to just thinking it's an alpaca.
Because the farm just sounds like people being murdered
Yeah,
all the time.
It's
Oh
like
my
that
god, that's
monologue.
amazing! Just the screams. We're all so used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, we get close to a battlefield and we're like, is there a herd of alpacas?
It's like the monologue from Silence of the Lambs. You can still hear the alpaca screaming.
Yeah, the morning has come. And you guys are going to meet. Where were you guys going to meet? I assume you're meeting back at the Tinker.
We're meeting back at
Clockwork.
the workshop. Yeah.
Clockwork Heart? Yeah. Esmond, have you gotten any sleep? You've been up working.
He got probably... we had a busy couple weeks ahead of us, and he didn't get the stuff that he wanted to. I'd say 3 to 4 hours of sleep, maybe. Definitely not a full night.
All right. Casey, what's Esmond say as he wakes up?
So how tall is the gear stack gotten?
Roll.
I think I might wake him up.
Yeah. As when you wake up to the sound of clattering gears rolling all over the place, brass clanging, you see Casey standing perfectly still.
Would have been 27.
You're putting... you're putting all those back in the spots that belong in, organized by size. You're not leaving until that's done.
You notice that the stack has more gears in it than you had spare gears.
Oh no.
I'll take care of it. I mean, we're waiting here for
No,
Sheriff Payne anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where'd you get all the ones that weren't the spares? Oh,
Extra gears? I don't know what you're talking about.
oh.
They were in the shop.
Great, cool. So you're going to put all those back, organized by size, and then you're going to separate the ones that belong in the automaton, and you're going to set those aside and organize them by size before we do anything today.
You hear a knock at the door.
So well timed. What a good morning we're off to. Esmond will go and open the door.
Who arrives first? It's Peach.
Peach arrives earlier than possibly anticipated. Her hair just at all angles. She's slightly scratched on her cheek and arm. And she pushes into the Clockwork Heart and says, "Is, do you know that chickens do the cock-doodle fucking do thing sometimes? 'Cause the blue ones do."
No, but I guess it would kind of track, I guess, and following the general nature of how chickens, roosters operate. You good? You alright?
I need this chicken out of my room. We need to
Is it-
return all of this all today, including the chickens.
Did it lay an egg?
You know, did it?
Roll a d20.
If you roll 20, you laid a golden egg.
With the basilisk egg.
14.
No egg.
No, useless chicken just tore up my curtains and pooped a little.
I tell you what, when everyone gets here, we'll split up. Some of us will go to sheriff. Everyone else can return the chicken. Get that settled for you. Yeah.
It's not too long before the others begin. Oh,
Yeah. I guess we can all arrive at the same time. That's fine. It doesn't have to be separate. When Ava arrives, she is perfectly put together with her satchel and everything. She's all sort of ready. But she also has a small mug of, I guess, Hakim, and what would be the equivalent of a little travel mug, and a small thing of some, like, little bagel things as well. She has a few, I'm sorry, like, a few for everybody. Like, let's say 5. And as she sort of walks in and is passing them out, she sort of looks Peach over for a second and then she sort of, like, smirks and goes, "So, who is the lucky guy this time?"
Oh no, you killed her.
No, Peach just laughs at Ava and grabs a cup of the Hakim. You know, I'd tell you if it was anything worth telling.
And she just laughs.
That's bad, huh? Shalata says as she comes in after. She's actually probably brought like a little cloth bag filled with meat pies, I imagine. Probably does not have the Hakim in the direction of the Hakim that Ava is carrying. I think she actually probably went by in the morning and made a detour to check out the pugilist rock, just to make sure things were still there.
yeah,
Why
you
would you
look
do such a thing?
passing by passing by the rock, you see the slight little mound of dirt. Doesn't look disturbed from the way you left it.
She's still got her staff, and the little rat snake from near Fairfoot's farm is looped around her neck.
That's good. Salinger, you are passing through the town square on the way to meet up with everyone else. You see that one of the town's fabricators is repairing a wall that had been damaged in one of the earthquakes. You can see some of the crumbled stone being reformed to rebuild the portion of the wall that had cracked and fallen over. You can see some of the town's givers, their hands aglow, producing food upon the hearth for people there for breakfast, along with some cooking meats and things, actual food that's been gathered and being prepared. Most mornings are this way. Some combination of harvest that's been brought in, meat from the farms, and the givers themselves producing through magic food to feed the people. You hear the sound of work at the docks, but before too long, you come to a branch where you can either take a left and head to the Clockwork Heart, or take a right. I'll take you to the Dry Iron Pub.
He stops. Pulls out a little pocket square, starts folding it, unfolding it, thinking. Thinks about what everybody said the night before. Thinks about the years. 1 week at a time, him sitting in the stools at that pub. His mom playing. Knowing the folks there. Thinks about his friends. And then he heads towards the pub.
All right. You stand outside the doors of the Dry Iron Pub, the big round one, kind of sized for you and the Minotaurs. The hinges creak as you push it open. This early in the morning, there's not a lot of people, but you do see Lowry, the bartender, who had replaced Nosgrid, standing kind of behind the bar, wiping things down. You see a couple of sailors in there. The ship hasn't left. One of the ships hasn't left harbor yet. Looks like they're having some morning stew, or maybe a bit of gruel. You do spot one of the rough guts, one of the dwarves. Grem is his name. You can see he's kind of at one of those back tables. Seems to be slurping audibly on some Hakeem steam rising up out of it.
He looks around, pauses, looking at the bar, looks back away, and just heads straight over towards the table with the rough gut drinking Hakeem, and just plops down without saying a word. Just sits there. Doesn't look at him. Just sits.
Graham is totally bald on top, big, giant, bushy beard. He immediately looks up with an accusatory glare, and then his expression kind of relaxes a little bit. No, ciao.
Hey. Early. How are you feeling?
Slurps audibly. Hakeem. Bleary-eyed.
That good?
I was thinking this morning it'll be better. Never is.
No, a friend of mine came wandering in here last night.
Dark-haired one?
Mm-hmm. Talkative, nervous.
Hey, shouldn't be hanging out with her. It's trouble.
Oh,
What?
she's a sweetheart.
Dirty humans.
You know, I always appreciate the way you just speak your mind. Don't pull any punches. Don't hold anything back. You just let people know exactly how you feel. I think that's endearing. But the most makes you seem like a right arse. Like a grump. You might have gone and scared her off when she was trying to ask you something that might have helped out.
My girl needs to get scaring, poking her nose and business.
Well, you succeeded in half. You did scare her a little bit. Problem is, all your don't go into the mine talk scared them into going to check it out.
What? That's the opposite.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to catch a little bit more with sugar than salt.
Where? When? Leans a little closer. When?
They went in there last night and got themselves into a whole lot more danger than they would have if you just told her what was going on and not pique their curiosity. We're just kids. You tell us we can't do something, we're going to go do it. Lucky I didn't barge in there. I almost did without thinking.
So it's not a joke. This mine's dangerous.
Why?
What did it say when they came back? Did you go with them?
No, I didn't go in. Thought better of it. Bumped my head on the rafter on the way down. Realized that probably wasn't a safe space, especially for somebody my size.
Smart boy, smart boy. What'd they say when they came out?
You have to promise not to get mad.
What?
Promise not to get madder.
Okay.
They found some stuff in there and they took it out.
Let's see, you roll your character's insightfulness into the emotions of others.
He's better with books than people.
Yeah, he doesn't look that much more angry. What did they say they found? He's lowered the cup at this point to the table.
Some stuff that probably shouldn't have been there. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, this is dangerous business. Kids playing with.
That's why I came in here to talk to you. I know it's dangerous. But I've known y'all most of my whole life. Even though you try to scare everybody away, being all gruff, tough, dirt and stone and all that. You don't have to talk with gravel every time. They're gonna take the stuff to the sheriff. If y'all need it, yeah.
He leans forward, and even though he's looking up at you, it kind of feels like he's looking down for some reason. He says, Who went in? And tell me exactly what they brought out.
Weapons, jewelry. Some of them tried it on.
What?
I didn't
No!
touch any of it. Does he look scared? That sounded scared.
You can, I don't know. Dwarves got scrunchy faces.
Okay. Well,
Senator, you go get all your friends. And all the stuff they found. You bring it to the farm. You bring it to my farm. Right now.
and if I can't convince them to go there instead of the sheriff, what's gonna happen?
You don't understand, Sal. The sheriff don't matter. They've done something bad.
All right.
So, look at
All
me.
right.
It's important.
Stand. I won't let him say no. I'll make him understand.
Come to the potato farm.
All right, I gotta run if I'm gonna catch him.
Go. You see how he gets up and abandons his cup and grabs his cloak and kind of puts it over his big shoulders and picks up his cane and starts hopping quickly towards the door. Lowry.
As he runs out, one quick thing. As he starts to run out, Sal's got to mutter something. That went significantly better than I had expected.
All right, we'll actually cut that scene there instead of doing what I was going to do. Back in the Clockwork Heart. You guys are there. Salinger hasn't arrived just yet.
Did you mark the ones when you put them into the automaton? He holds up 2 gears and kind of turns them over. Because that would have been really smart to do something like that, you know?
Yeah, in retrospect, it probably would have been. I want it organized.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, Earl.
Lock the door, presumably.
Charlotte, in the midst of handing Esmond a meat pie and a wrench, looks over her shoulder at the door.
Thank you, you're a lifesaver, Charlotte. Would you get that? It's probably Sal.
Pokes her head around. Looks up, expecting to see Sal.
He leans in, almost bumps you as you both turn through the doorway at the same time.
She reels back, flushing a little bit, and opens it up a little bit wider to let him in before looking around very suspiciously to anybody who's watching, but just to see if anybody is looking. And then,
Sorry I'm late, but I have a good reason.
No worries, we hadn't talked about anything yet. What's up?
Did you
Oh,
bring
who
more
brought
Hakeem?
bagels? No, Hakeem. Stuff gives me the jitters.
Ava just hands him a bagel.
Ava's my favorite.
What happened to you? He says to Peach.
That goddamn chicken!
What'd you do to it?
I had nothing to it, but it made my life a living hell.
It attacked your face?
No, we need to get out of my room. It attacked my hair, tried to make a nest of me, tried to fight with me. I don't know what it's trying to do. And you know what? It didn't let me sleep. I know if it's got bad chicken energy because it knows I hate it, but I hate it.
And we'll get that chicken out for you. I got a feeling it won't end well if you try to get her yourself. Can he reach where the stuff in the bag is in the rafters? Like the wrapped up weapons and stuff?
I think that was put low. It's like under one of the tables.
Oh, it's under? I thought it was in the ceiling at first. Okay. We can't go to the sheriff.
What?
Casey grins, but does not stop his gear sorting.
I couldn't shake the feeling that we should talk to the folks over at the Dry Iron, the Rough Guts first. So I just did it on the way in. They
On
weren't
your
mad.
own.
On my own, I didn't want to get you embroiled in it. They weren't upset. Well, no more upset than usual.
One of these days you're going to get in trouble. You may think I'm small, but I am helpful. It can be better to do things as groups.
And we're going to. We're going to go over to the potato farm, return those items, because... Give me his name one more time. I said it with a Y, but I don't want to say it wrong.
Who are we talking about?
The guy that I met with.
Grem.
Grim, okay. The
G-R-E-M.
guy that replaced the
G-R-E-M.
bartender. Okay.
Grem. Oh.
Grim, okay.
No, the guy that replaced the bartender is Lowry. But the dwarf that you talked to is Grem.
Cool. Lowry and Grim. Just make sure I don't mess those up before I actually start saying it. I know Grim comes across as rough, he says, looking at Ava. And I know finding a bunch of weird stuff in the mine's very suspicious. But he seemed genuinely worried about us when I told him what happened, not worried for himself. I think that says everything we need to know. We need to take that over there and find out what's going on before we get the sheriff involved.
Let me guess what he said. Damn kids don't know what you're doing. Stay out of there.
As always, your Grim impression is impeccable. But it was the tone, the nuance.
Why didn't he just tell you? I don't understand why we have to bring everything to him.
Yeah,
You haven't-
can't he come here and get it? Aren't we calling the sheriff to come here and get it too? Aren't we not supposed to move this all?
One thing at a time. Ava, you spent a lot of time conversing with the dwarves in general.
No, not particularly.
We'll have to remedy that. Getting direct to the point is exactly the forte in that type of conversation. Demonstration. There must be some reason he wants us to bring those items over there, but the fact that he is worried about us, I trust the man. Not that I don't trust the sheriff, but we don't need to cause undue trouble to someone who's clearly trying to do a good turn by us.
Esmond is leaning against his workbench, and as Sal was revealing everything, he has kind of just placed everything down and is just watching. And when there's a moment of breaking the conversation, he interrupts. We had a plan, and you went against all of us. Sal. Even if
Yeah,
you
you
didn't
have
agree
every-
with it, you could have come to the workshop first, so you could have clarified further if you wanted to.
It ain't all him. I was all about doing it last night.
No, Peach. It doesn't matter what you may have said to him. This is what Sal did.
No, Esmond's absolutely right. You're right, Ez. It was my decision, and you can be mad at me about it, and you can still go marching off to the sheriff without what I think is the right thing to do, but I made the move I felt I had to. In this town, we're all in it together. Throwing our own. Just give him a chance to explain what's going on before we go to the sheriff.
The point of going to the sheriff, Sal, was that we didn't want to implicate the dwarves in anything. We didn't know who that stuff belonged to. So we wanted to take it all to the sheriff so he could do his job to figure out where it all belongs.
They were going to be implicated immediately. I mean, look at this stuff, he says, just kind of looking at the craft of it.
What if we just go to meet the dwarves, but do not bring it so that he can tell us what is the matter with it? Probably away from eyes and whatever he didn't want to say in the tavern.
The impression I got is he felt those items were dangerous and we shouldn't have messed with them, and they might have done harm, might have already done harm, might do more harm. And where's Seaford, or where's Seifred? Where's Kibbuth?
I mean, Araya might be
Araya?
here. He kind of looks around into any empty corner, judging by what she told us of the ring she has.
Oh, right.
Are they cursed or something, like the stories?
They did do things. They didn't just light up. Right? But not for all of us, just for them all. And for you, Ava.
You begin to hear the gentle clinking and clattering of small objects on the workshop tables, benches. It starts to grow, and then you feel a rumbling beneath your feet. Before too long,
We don't know how to deal with earthquakes, do we?
you feel the ground beginning to shake. And you feel the ground shift beneath you to the side, causing you to have to catch your weight. Stumbling, things begin to fall off of the shelves. Clattering of wood, something falls, hits the ground. After a few moments, it passes.
Yeah, that's only 3.2.
Is everyone okay?
It's another one of those. Is that sooner than the last time it happened?
Yeah, how often are these coming in, and was this particularly strong, Chris?
This was a little stronger than the last one. It's been maybe every couple of weeks. Yeah, every couple of days.
Well, we can rule out the dynamite.
Okay, well, what if we just do all of the ideas? If you think that these things have to be returned, we can't bring back all of them because Kibith and fuck, what's Sunscare's name? Cypher. And Cypher and Arya, they all have something, so we can't bring them all back. If you really think, I'll go get the sheriff, and everyone else or people can bring the weapons to where the dwarf is, and then everyone can meet there, and the sheriff will help figure it out.
Let's keep it simple. Everyone else go meet the dwarves. Clearly, Sal has a better idea than what the rest of us agreed to. I am going to go speak with my parents and the sheriff regarding different matters. I need to talk to them about what I learned about the automatons yesterday. I was planning on doing that today anyways, but I'm gonna go do it.
Well, have the sheriff meet us at what all his friends' place. Right? It can't hurt to have more grown-ups around, I suppose. Like, why not have them talk to one another? Figure it out there.
If it is something that is that dangerous, shouldn't the town know about it?
I'm not saying we're not going to tell the sheriff at all at the end. You guys can still tell the sheriff. I just felt it was my responsibility to talk to the dwarves first. That's all. And you have every right to be pissed at me about it.
No, I agree with you, Salinger. I wanted to go talk to them too. I just don't think we should now deliver these things to him.
You didn't tell them where everything was, did you?
No. No.
Okay, so, everyone goes, and one person keeps the satchel back, and then people meet in the field, and then if he explains himself, then someone can wave over and bring the stuff, or if it's bad and they shouldn't have them or something, then they won't have the weapons.
That might be best.
Sounds great. Let's go reason with the dwarves.
I still think we should have told the sheriff, so I really don't think that was the right thing, but I guess,
What's done is done. We have to work with the parameters that have now been set for us. So we'll split up. Some of you all will go and meet the dwarves to maybe finally get an answer as to what everything is doing down there. If whatever you're told is good enough, then we can return everything. If it's not, then just don't mention it's here, and we can return to the sheriff. In the meantime, though, I need to go meet my parents. I need to meet with the sheriff on a separate subject.
Is you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I have any gestures to the workshop. I have business to figure out.
Fair enough. Casey holds up the last gear and sets it onto a stack of gears and walks away. The organization section is organized, and there's a stack of gears that presumably will go into the automaton. I don't know how good I did.
Give it a roll. Is that a natural 20?
Yeah!
Tell us a story.
He holds up the last gear, turns it over, turns to Ez and smiles, just gives it a flick, and it lands on top of the stack with a little ding, 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 ding. Let's go talk to some dwarves, shall we? And he walks out.
Reverse Jenga.
Chaos Theory always suggested this would happen. Casey's left the clockwork heart.
I was right behind him. It's uncomfortable with at the moment in here.
Peach Tail Sal.
Just real quick, out of character, just to coordinate, because we're not visibly in the same space. Did we decide we're going to take all of the weapons with us and go talk to them and keep the weapons separate or keep them with us, or are we leaving them in the workshop and just going to talk to the dwarves? I just
The latter.
It was
Latter.
my understanding that at least one person would have the weapons and not be visibly there, but off at a distance, while the others who would go to talk to the dwarf had the satchel of jewels. And then once they heard what the dwarf had to say, would either signal the person with the weapons who was standing off hidden somewhere else to come in or to leave.
Okay, that's. What do you
If
guys
that's not what came in, then I don't know how
that's what I would. Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. But I just want to see whatever. I don't want to drag this out too much. Just what do you guys want to do? Bring them or leave them?
I think Charlotte would say on the way there as they're discussing how to approach this.
We're not going to skip ahead yet. There's still a scene I need to do. So when you leave the Clockwork Heart, you've left the scene.
I guess she will say before they actually leave then. Eva and Salanter, since you both were talking to the dwarves, should probably be there, as they already know that you were involved in some way or other. I suppose they know we're all involved in some way or other. There's not that many of us. But I can be off to the side with the weapons.
Okay. And she sort of steps close to Sal, because she doesn't seem to be excited about going to talk to the dwarves again.
Charlotte looks at Peach and Casey, and then just sort of shrugs at them, says, you can go either place, I guess. I don't know whatever you want, but I don't think the dwarves particularly know you all are involved.
Casey,
the dwarves are the sheriff, right?
That's true. I suppose you could go off to the sheriff too. Oh, were we talking about doing that also? Wait. And then she looks confused and falls silent.
Is it stay here with Ez? Is it go to the sheriff with Ez? Is it go to the dwarves with... What all is happening?
Out of character, I thought it was determined that everyone else was going to go talk with the dwarves, and depending on what they answer, that was going to determine what everyone agrees to do, whether to go and speak with the sheriff after that or return all the items. And in the meantime, Esmond was going to go speak with the sheriff on a separate subject.
Yeah, I was confused by that.
Okay. Does everyone know where their characters are going to be going? Okay. Esmond, you're left alone in the back workshop of the Clockwork Heart. You had said you wanted to go talk with your parents or do something.
Yes. Esmond would have gathered the internal compass from the automaton in the shop.
Right.
He would have gathered the logbook of all the repairs made, as well as the compass that was in one of the shelves that was being built at the time, but it still serves its purpose currently. And he was going to take that to his parents first.
Okay. Yeah, you leave the rear workshop of the Clockwork Heart, pass through enter the middle storage area and out to the storefront, where trinkets and things are sold to customers or work done for people in town who need it. You reach the front shop where Gwen usually would be manning the desk, but you see that they're not there. You see that the front door to the Clockwork Heart is open, and you notice something strange. Usually, through that front door, every time it opens, you've seen that door open, heard it open your entire life. You can hear the sound of the town outside, wagon wheels, horses, people chattering, clamoring, dead silent.
In the town?
Out through the door.
Esmond makes a note of that, but he'll slowly, he'll apprehensively walk through the door, but he'll still walk through.
Yeah, you step out through the front door, and you can see your parents standing there, looking north. You see other people from the town standing there, looking north. You see your friends having just left the workshop, really, standing there. No one's moving, making a sound, because as you look north toward the tower, you can see that the morning sunrise isn't the color it's supposed to be. It's a color you've never seen before. It's neither warm nor cold. Something you can't describe. color you have no name for. Everyone's there.
Esmond is going to...
Your mother reaches out and grabs your hand. Yes, what's going on?
What? What?
Do you see that?
Yeah. Esmond quickly reaches into the pouch that he had and he pulls out one of the compasses. What direction is it pointing?
Not quite north.
We're all here, right?
Yeah, everyone's there. You can play your characters. It's just, yeah.
Charlotte reaches out and like gently touches the shoulder of the nearest person who is standing stock still, like shaking them a little.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. A character or an NPC?
NPC.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the townsfolk. You kind of grab their shoulder and check them. They look over to you.
Is everyone just in shock?
Yeah, it's yeah, that's people were just everyone.
Okay. They
Everyone's
weren't like
noticing.
We thought they were like
frozen
under
still.
a
Yeah, I know.
spell. This is D&D, Chris.
Yeah. Look, it's one of the town givers. Looks like they've got a basket. They were on their way to the hearth. They put their hand on top of your hand. Shell, I've never seen anything like that.
I've neither. What? She looks around. Does she see the teacher anywhere? Whoever she would consider the smartest person in town. Or the most knowledgeable.
Not here, but they're in town. Most likely you could find them like around the hearth this time of morning.
What's happening?
Esmond is going to turn to his parents. You guys should head inside. Head inside. I'm gonna go find Gilgan. He may know something. I'll be back though. I'll be back shortly.
Not alone, you aren't. And Gilgan is the teacher, right?
Yeah, Gilgan's teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, Gwen squeezes your hand, Esmond, and Mulgwood reaches out, puts his hand kind of on your knee for a second, and says, "Careful, come on, quick!" And they shuffle inside.
Yeah. I'll be back, guys. Love you. And Esmond is going to run off to see if he can find Gilgan, checking the hearth first, since that's typically where people are this time of day.
Yeah, you see pretty much the only one moving in this moment. You see Esmond go taking off at a run towards the hearth. You can see the people around you are beginning to glance around at each other and starting to gather into groups, conversing, questioning, wondering what's going on.
Sorry, were we not close enough to actually hear what Esmond was saying?
Oh yeah, you probably were.
Okay. Yeah, Charlotte is takes off after him.
Yeah, you see the two of them go running off. What's everyone else doing?
I'm gonna go ask my mom. And Peach kind of looks at Sal and at whomever. I mean, she's the only person I know who's even left the town. Right? Maybe.
Old grandma'd head straight over to the farm. That's where I'm going.
Well, don't go alone, Sal. But you're still gonna go? This is...
I'll go with him. Should I... Sal, what if you bring all the stuff with you. I don't think anyone could take stuff away from you if you're holding on to it and you don't want them to take it away. Oh, does Shalati have it?
Yeah, I was under the impression I was carrying the weapons.
Oh, and she just ran off.
But yeah, someone else probably has the jewels.
The big wrap of weapons is pretty cumbersome. Like it's like a lot of weapons. Like probably almost requires 2 people to carry. Just for context.
If someone else had decided to, in their sort of hastily thrown together idea to stand off to the side and hide, she probably would have split that load with whoever else was going to stay with her. Which at this point might just be Pietro Casey.
It's fine that Shell has them. I just wanted to, so for physicality, you know what she's carrying. It's a big, giant armful of stuff.
Yeah. I think she would have thrown her poncho and whatnot over it, or any blanket that...
Well, it's already wrapped in canvas, so you can't see what it is.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. What's Casey doing?
Yeah, he'll look at the sky next to Sal. There's something you don't see every morning. What would you call that color, Sal?
I think it's more than one. Maybe it needs a name. Never seen anything like it. You give it a go.
Let me think on it.
Sorry, who's Sal talking to?
Me.
Casey.
It does put things in perspective, though.
While you're thinking on it, Casey, how did you get Ez to stop being mad at you? You got more practice than I do. I've never seen him pissed at me before.
Ez isn't mad at me.
Denial.
Ez and I are straight with each other. Doesn't mean we're angry.
Well, it's somewhere between fuchsia and lavender.
I feel like it should be a new word.
Well, Flavender sounds terrible.
Esmond and Shalon, you arrive at the town hearth. There's the smell of cooking, but none of the sounds. There's a low murmuring of voices. You pick out from the crowd Gilgain. Eyes, weary look on his face, studying the sky.
Beeline directly for him. As soon as Esmond reaches him, he's going to crouch down, gently or quickly place a hand on his shoulder. Mr. Gilgain, sir, it's history lesson now?
There, hunched in his beige robes, Gilgain looks at you. Says, my boy, this is something history can give to us. All my days, I have not seen a thing like this.
No, you must have heard of something or stories, myths, something like this before.
It's an interesting thing about history, boy. Sooner or later, you're gonna live it. Shall, you're there too.
Yeah, I just have a question. Is Gillian the oldest person we know?
Yeah,
Like in terms of absolute years.
more than likely. At least that's what you would suspect.
So like the dwarves aren't older?
No,
The dwarves are
the
way
dwarves,
older.
the dwarves. In terms of number of real years, definitely not
Yeah,
Gilligan. He's a halfling.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
that's what it is.
the dwarf, it would be dwarves or gnomes, or I don't think
Do
you
you have
know.
any full elves?
You don't know any who are that old. Miranda's the only full-blooded elf that you know, who lives in the town, and she's pretty young.
I had actually said we can change this, but that her step grandmother is a dark elf who's old even for an elf. She could be a half elf instead if that's
Let's
yeah,
put
okay.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Charlotte looks at Asmund and says, maybe dwarves are the oldest people we know. Maybe they've seen something.
Maybe Gilligan, does that sound right to you? Could they know something? Could they have had stories? Heard anything?
I don't speak of it, but those rough guts were around when the kingdom was forming here in the east. You may know something. In fact, child, why don't you go have a talk with them? See if they know anything about this.
I think I'll.
Charlotte is already moving. She's just running.
I think we'll do just that. Gilligan, my parents are at the Clockwork Heart currently. Why don't you go meet them there? You guys can stay together and just keep each other company. I'll be returning after we talk with the dwarves. Yeah.
Oh boy, there's a variety of young ones about, and the old young folk like me who gotta make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, just stay safe. Okay.
Need to be careful and be swift.
Well, what is it that I was always saying? Swift like the wind, right? And Esmond immediately takes off in a full-on sprint in the direction of the dwarf town.
Okay. Who was not going to the dwarves?
Peach mentioned she might want to. Yeah, her instinct is to go to her mom and ask about the weird sky thing.
Okay, so that's where you're going. Anyone else not going to dwarves? Okay, cool. Let's see. So Peach, you definitely arrive first. Yeah, you get to that town square. There's lots of people standing outside the Wanderlust looking up at the sky. You see that Miranda is there too. The hiccup, sorry. Near the doorway.
Mom, what is this?
Actually, I just wrote, sorry, let's be closer to the docks. Yeah, Miranda looks at you, reaches out, grabs on your hand. Honey, are you okay?
What all is going on in the north? What's happening?
I don't know any more than you do.
You've never seen anything like this?
Like this?
No, I mean anything.
Honey, I've seen all kinds of things in my days. I've never seen something like this.
Mom, I'm real scared.
You hear a sneeze in the background of the town. Yeah, she squeezes your hand tighter. No, don't you worry. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna take care of you. Everything's fine.
Yeah, Peach doesn't necessarily want to go to the dwarves, but I don't actually have a thing for her necessarily to do. This was just, she was going to go and ask her mom. That's her default.
Honey, why don't you come inside and you can help me keep things in order.
Yeah, we can get some going. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you want, they could be passing by there when on their way out, Charlotte will look at Pete and says, Tilkin told us to ask the rough guts.
Is that, yeah, good?
But
Thumbs up.
in character. I was just saying it's fine that happens. So yeah, you see Esmond and Charlotte come running by.
Wait, where are you all going?
Esmond doesn't stop.
The rough guts! Charlotte does not stop either. She's just running and tosses it back over her shoulder.
And
You hear a bling, 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 bling.
Peach would look at her mom and say, I gotta do something. I gotta at least do something. I'll be back.
Yeah, and Miranda kind of holds onto your hand for a second. You kind of have to pull away, but as you go running off, she lets you go. For the sake of convenience, you guys are all running across the farm fields together. You see the dwarves gathered kind of outside. They seem to be in the midst of some kind of argument, and they begin to turn your way as you all approach.
Esmond might be the first one to get there, just barely, granted, but he'll come to a full stop and just in front of the group of dwarves. Okay, who wants to give us a history lesson right now? Does anyone know what's happening?
You see Gorn, who is one of the rough guts, who the others seem to defer to, at least in some fashion or another. He takes some steps out toward you as the others are catching up. He says, all of you, what did you do?
I'm sorry? What do you mean, what have we done?
I know what we know about that you went in the mines.
Yeah, what of it? We didn't do anything.
Charlotte forgot that she was going to stay behind, and so she's standing basically right next to Esmond with her arms full of the dwarven weapons that are wrapped up.
Yeah, one of them points. Yeah, Gorn looks over. Oh. Everyone's caught up at this point.
Peach catches up, huffing and puffing, and leans against Charlotte.
Oh, I told you not to go in.
Who gives a shit about your jewelry? What is happening?
I don't know.
You must have some idea. You're all so old.
One thing at a time.
Stories.
Those. Give them back.
Charlotte, drop everything.
She looks at... Do they look like they're in danger of imminent violence?
Violence? No, probably not.
She puts them carefully down on the ground and then stands over them.
So I wouldn't let her hit the ground. He'd try to grab them and then move them over. The idea of dropping ancient things unsettles him, so he would jump towards them.
She was careful. She didn't drop them.
Still, just seeing them start to go down, he would have jerk reflex and grabbed them.
Graham walks forward, and you see him. He's going to pick up that bag and take it away if no one physically stops him from doing it.
She puts out a hand to... Gosh, she's really short. And I'd like to try and stop him at the shoulder and says, some answers first, please.
Yeah, you put your hand on his shoulder, and he looks at your hand and looks back at you. Oh, step back, girl.
Casey will step up next to Charlotte's shoulder and stand up straight next to her and says, I believe you heard her.
Esmond is going to take several steps towards Dorn, did you say his name was?
Yeah, Gorn's standing pretty right in front of you, Esmond, because you ran up.
Yeah, Esmond will take a few steps closer. All right, so your weapons are there. We're more than happy to give them over, but clearly you know something more than you're actually letting on, because you're blaming us for doing something in the mines where we happen to find all these weapons, which you apparently hid there. So either you start explaining or we start sharing stories with the rest of the town folk.
If you knew we hid them there, why'd you take them?
We didn't know that you hid them there until you just confirmed it for me. So, fess up what's happening.
Glances back at the others. They kind of look at each other. Some of them are looking at the sky. They look back at you.
Please, just tell him, as he picks up the satchel and tries to just hand it to the nearest dwarf.
Yeah. Yeah, Graham takes the armful.
She's gonna put a hand. Shala's gonna put a hand on Salandra's wrist and like give him like a fuck,
Yeah,
dude. Look.
He's halfway standing up when you stop him. He just will look nervous back and forth between y'all. Not forcing the issue, but still trying to just hand it to them without pulling.
Yeah, we'll say the three of you all have a hand on this canvas kind of weapons. And there's no one's done anything yet, but you're all just kind of have a hand on it. Yeah, Gorn looking at you, Esmond. There's no reason not to think that all this has something to do with what you've done. They said you put it on. You put them on.
Put what on? What would putting anything on have to do with... And he just gestures up. With this?
Those accursed things you found. Why do you think
How?
we hid them in the mines?
How are they cursed?
Those that the Durgar make. They came from the deep. A time when those cursed peoples served darker things. It's not things for you kids to be playing with. All of it, give it back now.
If they're so cursed, why didn't you not destroy them? You had so much dynamite.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something you should just leave sitting around in a mine.
Yeah, it wasn't hid very good. If we could all find it,
A fucking chicken found it.
right?
Eyes widen a little. Did you take the mining explosives?
Yeah.
What are you kids doing? Why? These are not things for you to be playing with.
Place is abandoned. They don't call it mine for nothing.
Believe me, sir. We're not playing. What do you think someone who came across weapons that nobody has seen for thousands of years and mining explosives in a mine that has been dry for hundreds of years?
It's no business of yours.
So not we live in this town too.
We didn't bring
It's
it.
dangerous, then you're endangering everyone by not telling.
We didn't bring it into the town. We didn't bring it into your lives. It's for us to deal with. It's our burden.
By hiding it in a shallow pit a chicken and some teenagers could find?
We're not supposed to be going in there. You're told not to go in.
Alright, we're getting nowhere fast. Gorn, what's done is done. Alright? Items were found. Weapons, jewelry, whatever it was. It's all been found. We didn't touch anything else, though.
Is there a reason for you to think that these cursed items from creatures in the ground are affecting the sky?
Look at it. That's unnatural.
Of course it is,
That's
but just because it's unnatural
magic.
doesn't mean it's the same thing causing it.
You got no proof.
Tower fell! That is a sky thing. Why is that not causing the other thing?
Nothing
You've
happened.
never heard of anything like this, then.
This didn't happen until you took the things. Roll insight. Roll insight.
Casey is beaming at Shalati as she argues with this dwarf.
Perfectly average in every way. Much nicer.
Is everyone rolling that?
I got a dirty 20.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we rolling? Insight?
Yeah, just like how good you are at, that's interesting. This could also be maybe charisma based, but basically how in tune you are with other people and stuff like that.
Oh, if it's charisma based, then Peach would add a D4. $21. Would have to roll 4.
Okay.
18.
Yeah. We'll say anyone who anyone who got a 15 or above, you've had some sort of interaction or experience or something with these dwarves in the past. Know that this group, like, it's not to say all dwarves, but this group, they're pretty superstitious, and not all the things that they think or react to are necessarily make perfect sense. Like, they're very superstitious a lot. Look here. I'm not accusing you of nothing. No way for me to know. Really. It's beside the point. Things you took. They're not for you. It's dangerous. You can't be playing with these things. I know you didn't mean no harm. It's fine. It's fine. All of it. Give it back. You can make it right for you.
What are you gonna do with him? She says from behind Sal.
Doc makes a good point. It seems like these weapons could be of much greater use up north rather than rotting in a mine.
You can't be giving those cursed things to the kind of the bloody elves. And
Excuse me?
glances to you, scours a little bit. Looks back at them.
We don't have all of the stuff here.
Where's the rest of it?
Doesn't matter where it is. What is the plan? And he just looks back up at the sky. What does returning the items do to resolve this?
I don't know what you expect me to tell you, boy.
A solution! You want the items so badly, but what does returning them to you do at this point? What can we do to help you to resolve the sky situation? I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't think I know anything about this.
Boy, there's nothing I'm going to do. Reach up and fix the sky.
They're not going to do anything, as they're just going to cower in their huts.
What are you talking about? You calling me a coward?
No one is calling you a coward, and Esmond's going to put a hand out towards not now, and he's going to turn back to Gorn. Sir, everyone in town is freaking out. We are all just as concerned as you are right now. Please, if you have any history, any stories that relates to this that you can share with us, anything. I know that you're a verbal people. You pass stories and myths down through song and the stories you tell your children. There has to be something that you can share with us.
Boy, there are stories of days dragons done flying in the sky. The seas done turn upside down. The clouds themselves lit on fire. The world remade into something new. We were here when your damn kingdom come spreading into our lands. We've done our part. We've lived our peace. Some things aren't for you. All the things you took, give them back.
Do you plan to hide them in a better way than you did before? Because otherwise, someone else is just going to stumble across them, and maybe they won't be us who are willing to give them back.
Aye, clearly needs to happen. But that's for us to do.
I think the sheriff should decide what happens to things that are dangerous to the town.
You can't be giving stuff like that to them. No, they don't understand how dangerous it all is. They don't care. They don't respect the old ways.
They can't respect the old ways if you don't share what the old ways are. If you don't tell people why the old ways.
No, we showed them the old ways. We showed them the old ways and the passes and the mountains, and still they came. We showed them with the axe and the shield and the spear, and still they came.
It's their things. It's their responsibility. Let's just give it back to them. Then we can tell the sheriff and they can argue amongst each other. We shouldn't be involved in this. Look at this, says, pointing up at the sky.
He points at all of you and says, "What have you done that's not just caused trouble? We handling these things. You stuck your business. Place that doesn't belong. You don't need to be in the mines. You don't need to be doing these things. Your boys, your girls, your children."
Hey, that is enough. We were told to do these things. We're off looking for the Fairfoot chickens. We're trying to hold this place together until you all kick us out in 3 weeks to go risk our lives. We're the only ones doing anything.
Hey, you want to go march off, fight for these conquerors? It's up to you. But this stuff you took, you give it back.
Charlotte's grip on Salandra's arm is kind of loosening, and she's looking around at the others, but she seems to be... her weight is starting to shift back.
All right, fine, whatever. Esmond's gonna turn to everybody else.
One thing before we go on. Let me have everybody just roll your general, like, your character's at least knowledge through study of history, stuff like that.
Hit a D6 if it's your favorite or best thing.
D6 if it's your best thing.
Maybe I have a specialty in dwarf.
That
That's
looks
twice
better.
I've done dwarf knowledge rolls and done well.
Peach rolled an 8. Maybe she didn't really pay attention to that subject.
I rolled real bad. That's a shame.
Casey
well-
pays more attention in class than
You
it
would think.
seems.
We'll say just kind of recently, for whatever reason, Shal and Casey, this, like, kind of these broader strokes of history sort of this region you had been looking into kind of recently. Maybe it was something that was assigned to you by the teacher. These dwarves are definitely implying that they fought against the kingdom. You've never heard of that.
Maybe it was a group assignment that they were paired, and that's how they started dating.
Yeah, when Shalati leans back from Sal, I mean, Casey's over her shoulder, and he puts a hand on the small of her back as she moves back into his space, just briefly.
She, like, leaps forward like she's been burned. Well, she's warm, but not that. Hopefully does not overrun the dwarf standing in front of her.
Casey raises an eyebrow and kind of looks to her and then looks back to the dwarf.
Grim pulls on the satchel of weapons. Does anyone resist? Okay. Yeah, he pulls it away, heads back to the others. Gorn, the one in front, says, "The other things you found, there's more."
I never heard that you fought against the armies of Lux or the Queen. She looks around at the others a little bit uncertainly at this, just like,
What are you talking about?
Oh, I
Wait,
don't
what?
remember.
You're saying you're here before the town.
Town was here before the kingdom came. Of course, I wouldn't tell you that. All the pretty tales. All the stuff they give you. Maybe it's better for you. Living short. Living peaceful. We remember. Ground remembers. The things you took, not for you, they're dangerous. Some of you put them on. Who put them on?
What matters? What happens if we put them on? Tell us the problem first.
Thing you can't undo.
Val looks at Doc and just kind of taps her on the shoulder since she's right behind him.
Can't undo what?
Those things a Durgar make. That magic stays with you. It knows you. Whoever wore it before, long dead. And now someone new's put it on.
So
Is that both the jewelry and the weapons? And she looks at the people that she's seen wearing them, which would be Ava, and she knows Casey had the dagger that he'd taken.
Oh, Peach tried one on and it didn't light up, so she put it back.
Nope.
Oh, that's right.
You did not.
Nope, she just picked it up. Oh, yes, she just picked it up. You're right. Important.
Yeah, Ava's curious about that. Are the gems, were they in a separate bag, or were they with all the weapons?
The jewelry, you have that in some separate pouch.
Okay. I don't know who's carrying that. Which one of us would be carrying it? I would say my character if no one else would has it.
Yep, sure.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll look at them and look down at the bag, and then I guess she'll sort of still, kind of stepping out a little bit from behind Sal a little bit. She fishes into the bag and pulls out the ringlet that she put on. And she says, she looks around at all of them and says, it glowed a little bit.
Yeah, the dwarves kind of glance at each other, and they look at you.
Didn't glow when I just picked it up, though.
They mumbled to themselves, but Gorn takes a couple steps past Esmond over to Ava. Appears to you.
She kind of takes a unconscious, leans back.
Which one?
Half a step.
That one. You put that one on.
She looks down at the thing in her hands and looks back at him and sort of nods.
You see, there's a look on his face. He's trying to decide how to handle it.
Shalati shifts, so takes several steps to stand behind Ava, and just folds her arms and glares at the dwarf. Which dwarf is this?
Gorn.
Gorn. Okay.
He's kind of leader-ish of them.
This isn't quite adding up, Gorn. We put the jewelry on with no ill effects. Why would you hide these items with food? There was food with it.
The cave bread. You have it?
No.
I think the cave bread was eaten by a chicken.
Not all of it. Some of it is still there.
What is cave bread? Is the one in my room ate cave bread?
These are cursed items to hide in a cave. Why would you hide food with it? Doesn't make sense.
Durgar food doesn't rot. It'll keep forever. Why'd you feed it to a chicken?
Didn't feed it. The stupid chicken found it and ate it.
Yeah. Really a lobby hiding place.
Matters little.
What's going
Hey, Ava, throw me one of those.
No, do absolutely do not give it here. Give that back. Give it here now.
Definitely do give me one now, Ava. Toss it back this way. Right? It happened to Kibeth and Araya and
You kids about reach the age you could get a whooping.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I heard that snide remark about elves earlier. You can go fuck it. Ava, give me a thing.
She is standing with, I guess, the dwarf. It sounds like kind of close to her, in front of her.
Yeah.
Sal is a little bit off to her side. Shalati is standing right behind her. Ava has one hand gripped on the bag, one hand gripped on the ringlet, and she seems like she's just kind of torn as to what to do. She's overwhelmed.
Gorn's face hardens, and he says a word, likely in Dwarvish. And about half of the dwarves step forward. The other halves look, their eyes go wide, and they look to kind of hesitate. And you hear one of them, no! They're just boys! They're just children! And half of them have kind of stepped forward, and they have a pretty physically hostile kind of posture. And Gorn says, "This is no joking matter. Give it now."
What happens if we don't? Tell us what happens if we put them on. Because I'm about to.
We're done talking till you give us the bag. Do it now.
Ava is scared, and she's holding out. She has the ringlet in her right hand and the bag in her left hand, and she's sort of shakily holding out the bag towards the
Yeah, he
intimidating
reaches out and
300-year-old
tries
man.
to snatch it from you.
She
Do
does
you
resist.
resist?
Too.
Yeah, when those dwarves push forward, O pulls out his lighter and gives it a spark, along with a stick of dynamite, and says, "No joking matter indeed. Step back, all of you."
Charlotte definitely instantly pushed Ava back when they started stepping forward, and then she sees Casey doing this and shoves Ava back even further.
Okay, well, Goran grabbed the bag because Ava did not resist that. But as you pull out that stick of dynamite and the lighter, all the dwarves, their eyes go wide and they take a couple steps back. You can see half of them haven't postured towards you at all. The other half, they've drawn some of them have a foraging knife or farm tools, stuff like that. No real weapons.
No, we did. Yeah. No, we didn't come here to fight. We came here to talk. If you want to talk, we can talk. If you want to fight, we can fight.
Sal?
We're not fighting. Sal has stayed between as many of the dwarves and this entire group as he can, just taking up space.
Yeah,
Even with the dynamite, he stays right next to you, by the way, but yeah, it says.
And Esmond, you had your hand up.
I was going to say, actually, I just rolled for it. The moment that O pulls out a stick of dynamite and starts playing with a match, you've never seen him do it before, I don't think. He immediately starts breathing really heavily and holding onto his right hand and is just staring at the stick in your hand and is frozen in place.
Gorn, who now has the satchel in his hand, puts a hand back to the others. So says another word, presumably in Dwarvish, and the ones who had stepped forward with their farming tools and stuff like that, they seem to relax and take a couple of steps back. See, Gorn takes a couple of steps back from you guys as well, keeping his eyes fixed on the dynamite. Yeah.
We can be civil here.
Just tell us what they do. Why are they dangerous?
And Gorn looks to Doc and says, "You put it on, and it glowed. Is that bright?"
She swallows hard and sort of looks down at the thing in her hand and looks back up at him and sort of just nods.
Anyone else? Did anyone else put it on?
Yeah, but they're not here.
Who?
We're not about to tell you. Tell us what the problem is first.
One of them's right
Who
there.
could it possibly be? Two of them. Or actually, no, yeah, one of them.
Oh, there's the
Oh,
other.
there they are.
Troublemakers, a lot of them.
We definitely put them on for the record, yeah.
Wait, Cypher didn't, I thought.
Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher just pocketed him, right?
Nope, put them on. Oh, no. Nope. I'm wrong. Cypher did not put it on.
We didn't put them on. Well, Kabeth did wear it in front of people, but
Kabeth donned her. It's a brooch, so
we took our things home.
Cypher did not put it on in front of anybody.
you didn't put it on at all in my notes. You have it. You're in possession of it, but you did not put it on your body.
But time has elapsed, so we're saying.
Oh, like you put it on in the middle of the night, kind of thing. Yeah, okay, sure.
I mean, when she's in the privacy of her own home where she's not being witnessed by other people and she took a treasure.
Totally fair. Okay, yeah.
But it's unknown information one way or the
Kabeth
other.
also put it back, she took it home and
Sorry,
put it on.
I'm making comment to what I saw happen in game. So if your character would have gone home and put it on, totally fine. Updating my notes. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, Gorm says, it's kind of looking at Doc. It says, "Who else put it on? They're in danger."
And tell us why. What is this danger?
These accursed things, they bind themselves to you. They give you gifts. They can't be undone. If you try to separate yourself from it, it'll be the end of you. He takes out the circlet, holds it in his hand, and looks at Ava.
Oh, I thought Ava was going to.
Doc put
Yeah,
on the
she was-
circlet, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, circlet, and then she had pulled the circlet out of the satchel. The satchel she'd handled back, and the circlet she'd been holding in her right hand.
Okay, you're still holding it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he looks at it in your hand. Says, there's no undoing what you did.
So the people who wore them, you're saying that they should not be separated from them if they want to live.
But also that they're cursed now.
Separate yourself from that now. Weaker you'll grow, till you die. These things, they weren't made natural. Made of a time. The Durgar still long served those things in the dark, long after they were gone. Things weren't meant for you. Weren't meant for any good, sun-loving folk. Told you kids to stay out of the mine. Why don't you go inside?
I didn't go in the mine.
Some of you did.
I did.
You doomed your friend.
That
She's
is
good.
probably the first time she's actually looked stricken by this, and her eyes go wide, and she steps back a little bit.
Ava looks at the thing in her hand and starts to get nervous, and she starts to hand it towards the dwarf. I don't want take it. I don't want it.
No. It's too late now. You keep that.
No, I don't want it.
Right. Do us all the same. Did any of you draw blood with these weapons?
No, of course not.
No.
What else is going to happen to the people who have these items, though?
Aren't these weapons? Are these weapons cursed in the same way?
Aye. But if none of you spilled blood with it, you'll be okay.
You're not cursed, Doc. It's just superstition.
What should I? We should get a healer. I'll go to a healer. They
Oh,
they
speaking
can
of
fix
speaking of
things.
healers, right? Araya, she tried the ring on, made her invisible. Did the circlet do anything to you? Maybe you got
It was
a dud.
a girl from the temple put one on.
What?
You really shouldn't have said that.
So like a dark kind of expression goes across Grum's face.
You know what? If she did, then
Go on.
what? You didn't tell us anything.
Told you one very specific thing. The only thing that you needed to know.
I feel like we're going in
Sorry,
circles
give me
here.
1 second. The only thing that would have made all this okay, the only thing that needed to happen. Don't go in the mines. But it's done.
They were not blocked off. You're lucky it was us and not one of Quebec's 6 dozen younger siblings.
Apparently
They got
they
real hurt.
apparently they know better. Like you fool children. What would I expect from an elf?
Come on now. You're better than that.
So, the long and short. You don't know what's going on with this guy. These things are cursed. Shouldn't draw blood with the weapons. And she looks like Casey. And just kind of like... and then her eyes soften as she looks toward Ava and looks kind of worried and says, those who wore these things, they need to never be separated from them. Have I got this straight?
Aye. They put 'em on. You keep it close. Whatever the form of your doom. Well.
Are they doomed if they keep them on the entire time?
There's a things of a dark make. What misfortunes they bring, you bring upon yourselves. And some of you have been spared. It's good that you told us. And looks over. Sal nods.
I'm going back to town now. She starts to sort of like slink away uncomfortably.
Be careful who you tell. Not everyone's your friend now. And dwarves, he kind of says something in dwarvish, and he turns and starts to leave. About half of them start to go with him. Some of them kind of linger. They're looking at you with, it's hard to read their expressions, but...
Can I try to read their expressions?
Yeah, sure. Give it a... Yeah, the ones that are the ones that are staying behind are conflicted. They want to help. There's empathy there.
Why is it bad that one of them was from the temple?
Okay, we'll say that all of them have started to turn and leave, except for let's say it's Graham. Graham's handed the satchel off to some others who are carrying it away, but he's lingered behind. Shal, go ahead.
Was he one of the sympathetic ones?
Yes.
Okay. Shalati, before she leaves after Ava, kind of leans down and says in Grimm's ear, look, I guess we picked up things that we shouldn't have, but dying is not a right punishment for being silly. If you know anything else, if something occurs to you later, well, you know where to find us.
Yeah, Graham says, he reaches out. Yeah, if you knelt down, he kind of puts a hand on your shoulder. He says, he's looking at Doc. As you two are talking. He says, if there's anything to be gleaned, anything to learn, may I find you.
If we see anything else change, if I see anything else change, I'll tell you too. And then she nods and is gonna get up and walk after Ava.
Wait. Your friend. Sorry, Cap. Friend from the temple. They'll never take kind to her. She needs to know, just like that one, what's happening.
Of course. We're going to keep it from her.
Casey's still holding the lighter dynamite just to the side of this conversation, yells to the doors walking away. Cursed, got it. Don't suppose you plan on helping with that or anything? No. Go on then. Till next time.
Yeah, a few of them glance back and kind of glower and keep walking. Graham squeezes Shell's shoulder a little bit, glances to each of you, holds his eyes on Sal for a little minute. Sorry this happened to you. No, you didn't mean nothing. Then he turns and leaves.
Walk away then. Doc, don't worry, you're not cursed.
Yeah, she seems stressed by the situation. She doesn't say anything, though. She's just staring at the ground.
One of the dwarves walks in front of the camera.
Is O still holding out that dynamite?
He kind of has both of them to his side as he's turning back towards his friends, away from the dwarves. Yeah. He's a bit inflamed.
Esmond remains in place, just breathing heavily, beads of sweat forming and quickly being wicked away, and just holding his hand to his chest.
Okay, so the dwarves have departed, leaving you guys alone in the field. Scarecrow watches on.
I don't think they have any idea what this has to do with that. But we better tell Araya, Kibbuth, and Seifert as soon as we can.
You don't believe him, do you? It's superstitious nonsense.
Something did happen, though. We saw those all light up. There was a thing that happened. At least the gems and the jewelry, they do something.
I don't doubt they're magical, but cursed, come on.
Casey, do not discount the power that believing in something has. I'm believing as far as I need to make sure that my friends are okay. You all right, Ez? Sees him kind of shaking. Still frozen.
Staring at the dynamite that's still out in the open with the lighter near it.
Yeah, Casey's just holding it nonchalantly with the lighter that you gave him in his other hand.
Do any of us know that history with your hand?
Yeah, it was definitely big news in the village for like a week, probably. He blew off half his hand in a fireworks incident.
All right, then Sal will say something. Casey, put the dynamite away.
Yeah. He tucks it into his back pocket and flips his lighter through his fingers and puts it into front pocket. I wasn't gonna light it. It's just, dwarves only understand one thing.
The moment after the dynamite is put away, Esmond just falls to his knees and just breathes really heavily at the ground.
Doc is still shaken, but when he falls to his knees, she seems to shake from hers and rushes over to next to him and like puts her hand on the back of his neck and just tries to like look at him, and it looks like he's, I'm guessing, having, would you say, is he having a panic attack, or is he just hyperventilating? What's he doing?
Probably closer to hyperventilating at this point. Was having a panic attack, not so much anymore.
Okay, she just starts to coach him, and she's like, "Hey, all right, breathe, deep breath in, hold it, deep breath out, in, hold, out through the mouth. Okay, you're okay."
Thanks, Doc. Thanks. Sorry, I think I may have missed the last bit of that confrontation.
When he starts talking and she starts to slow down her breathing, she sort of nods and remembers the conversation and looks down to the thing she's still gripping in her right hand. She just says, "It was nothing. I'm sure they'll catch you up about it. I need to go, and you're gonna be okay. Just rest, make sure your heart's calmed down, and then you'll be fine. Just don't stand up too quick, otherwise you might get a little lightheaded." And then she starts walking back towards the village.
Charlotte is going to follow. She doesn't actually say anything. She just follows.
Where do you guys want to reconvene when you get out of the fields and back to town?
Yeah, before that, Casey walks over to Esmond after Doc moves away. And he stands up straight and holds a hand down to him and says, "We are not prisoners of our past. You are not a prisoner of your past."
Esmond slaps that fucking hand away and stands up, just nose to nose. Fuck off, O. Just fuck off right now. I'm just gonna start walking back to town.
As Casey kind of raises an eyebrow and turns to look at as walk away and smiles and nods a little bit.
Where do you guys want to go when you get back to town?
I don't think I want to sidestep anything to derail this too much. At some point, I think that Ava's pretty shaken and she just wants to talk to Teridian? How do you spell it? How do you say the name?
Teridian?
Teridian, yeah. Basically, that's who she's going to try to find. She's just, yeah, so.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
afterwards, she'll meet up with whoever.
Okay, so Ava's going to find him.
She has a tail. A sneaky tail.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Shell's following Ava. Where's everyone else? Where do they want to go? Just so I know where you're headed.
Logically, Sal would want to try and find everybody else that's not here, but that doesn't work mechanically. So,
Yeah.
probably just walk Peach back because she seems pretty shaken by the whole situation.
Aw, that's cute, Sal. I like that for them because my instinct was also like, Peach immediately wants to go find Kabeth and Array and be like, hey!
Everything's fucked.
It can even be that that's what you're trying to do. It's just, they're doing stuff, so it'll take some time.
As Esmond is heading back to the Clockwork Cart, but when he's had some time to regain himself, just mention or say to the side of Shalati, find me in like an hour or two. Give me a rundown. I missed what happened at the end there. And he just keeps walking.
Where is Casey headed?
I think nowhere with anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone kind of walks away, and he's probably the last one to leave that area.
Okay, that's good. Let's do, Peach and Sal. The group's kind of split. You guys are going to different places. I'm kind of leaving the two of you alone. On the walk, still headed back to town.
And that was terribly unpleasant.
I'm sorry he has got so mad at you on top of everything.
Nah, he had every right to. Betrayed his trust. He can be mad at me as long as he needs to.
It wasn't you doing it alone, though.
Yeah, I wasn't going to let you help me on that. You saw how they acted around you.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them.
I guess I didn't really realize that. I guess it makes sense that at a completely different pub they wouldn't come to the tavern that's run by an elf and has a half-elf working there, so...
Again, it's just some of them. They're old. They've had rough lives. It's in their name, rough guts. Don't take it too personal. They're not wrong. We forgot a lot of old stories, and I guess sometimes we're learning only the things the good stuff. It's bad too.
No, and I'm not
We-
afraid of them or nothing, but it's just, I wish they'd told us something useful. They're just scary stories that are not going to help us help Kibeth and help Seyfried and help Araya, who may be cursed by this jewelry.
Oh, we'll figure it out. As long as they keep that stuff, it ain't gonna kill them. That's a start. Step in the right direction. At least we get back some of them. We're not all cursed.
We're not all cursed. Have you seen the color of the sky, Salinger?
Okay, well, can't argue that.
At this point, the sun's risen enough to where that color's almost faded out. There's still the hints of it, but gone soon.
There's something weird happening. It's I don't know. I thought it was because I was afraid to go off, but it seems like there's something wrong here.
I don't think every able-bodied person would be called off if something wasn't real wrong. Can't dwell on it, though. I have no idea what it is. What are we gonna do? We got a few weeks. We do what we can. I make my stupid quiche. We make that star dial, and we get our names, and we march off and figure out what it is, and maybe the sky turns bright purple next. I don't know. Maybe the ground turns neon blue. Maybe our skin all starts changing color. It is what it is.
It is what it is. You're steady, Sal. I like that.
I'm as scared as you are. Well,
I know. I just said you were steadier.
The little bell above the door of the town apothecary, Fisker, ting, chimes as Ava, you head through. Shout, you've tracked Kaneva through the streets and you see her heading in. Yeah, I think probably actually Tardian's already in there. And you see him, he kind of glances up, squints at you, kind of through his spectacles.
Ava's still like looking a little distressed, and she's been fidgeting with the circlet in her hand for the whole time, kind of like back and forth and wringing it as if it was her own hands. And she sees him, she just sort of like walks up and just starts to basically talk kind of fast. She says, Kurt, I have, the dwarf said I have a cursed item, and I need to know how to remove curses, and how to tell if something's really cursed or if they're just completely full of shit, because they keep saying things that are really dumb, like the fact that we have stuff and that's the reason the sky looks all crazy, and but it did glow. When I was holding it.
Yeah, as you ramble on, you get towards the end, he kind of raises an old claw of a hand, kind of at you and does, slow down. Cursed? What are you talking about?
And she does some breathing, almost what she was trying to coach Esmond on for a second, just to do it for herself, and then she says, we were trying to find a chicken, and it went into a mine, and there were some weapons, and some jewelry, and some food, and things that were hidden in there, and we brought them out, and then we tried them on, and then Sal talked to the dwarves, and they said they were theirs, and we shouldn't be messing with them, which they'd said like a lot before, but I'd already tried them on, and me and some of the others, and it was glowing, and then the dwarfs took all the rest of them that we hadn't tried on, the jewels, but the ones that we did try on and were glowing, he said we had to keep forever, like this one, and if we don't, that we get weaker and we'll die. And I don't know if he was just saying that because he was messing with us or just making a point.
Zlati is just nodding. Unless Ava told her to stand outside, I think she would have followed in and just kind of been like a silent post, but she's nodding to corroborate all of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Teridian kind of hears Kane kind of click on the ground, and he pushes the spectacles up. Says, first, what is the symptomology? He kind of turns away from you and kind of moves to some books and things like that.
I don't know, he wasn't really specific or helpful. He said it was really old and that it came from a time before. Chris, out of character, I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Ava may be summarily flustered. Sure.
Okay.
He mentioned something about the Durgar.
Yeah.
That this was built at the time when they served dark things deep underground.
Durgar. Kind of dwarf, really.
I don't know.
So he's pulled out an old tome and he's opening it up, looking through.
Are there runes on the tiara?
You recognize things there as something similar to dwarvish writing, but it's not dwarvish specifically. It's like
she'll point at the circle and say, "There's some sort of thing written on it, but they cannot read it."
He seems kind of flipping through pages, all kind of blunt claws. Have you suffered any effects?
I know, but I've only had it for a short while. Someone else got a ring, and she...
Be specific with your observations.
It just glowed a little bit after I wore it, and there was a ring that someone else had, and it...
How long? How many days? Hours?
Since last evening, but right after sunset is I think when we tried them on. So 12 hours?
I see.
How long did it take before it started glowing?
Maybe
it
an
did
hour?
not seem to be instant. An hour?
No, it was instantaneous. For when it started glowing?
Instantaneous.
It was instantaneous.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it started right away. And he said that it binds to a person, that the person who owned it before is somehow connected to it, and now it's connected to me. And she looks over at Shalati to see if there's anything she forgot.
So she sort of shrugs, but I think she is starting to move around to put on the kettle and make some tea. I presume she's probably spent a lot of time in this space since they're friends. So she's making tea for everyone.
I see. Well, a few points of information. These dwarves claim that these are Durgar design. Did they offer any evidence of what they claim?
No, only tales. Although the other person who put on a ring, I think it was. I wasn't there, but those warders said that she turned invisible. Like, it could not see her, but she said that when she was invisible, she couldn't really hear anything outside of it either. She said it was like the world went a little bit darker, and she could hear that people were talking, but it was very muffled.
Well, magical enchantment upon things worn, such as jewelry, is not unheard of.
And when she took it off, so that the other person who was with her could find her, she came back into visibility. But when she put it back on, it did not. Well, I can't say that because I don't remember she said it, but at least it did not make her immediately invisible again. I think it just started glowing. That's it.
Well, magical enchantment of a variety of items is not unheard of, even not uncommon, but seldom encountered so far from the capital these days. Flips through some pages. Here, closes the book, pulls out another one. And these, they claimed you would befall ill effects upon the donning of such a thing, or the parting with it?
Doffing of it. The parting with it.
See, and they offer any more information, anything more specific?
I think they mentioned, I don't know if they got them during the wars, but they brought up the fact that they fought against the kingdom of Lux, and...
Yes, did you ever hear of such a thing? I was very surprised.
It was a very long time ago. There's been peace throughout these lands. 300 years. I suppose some of those doors may be old enough to have been in such a time. Well before my time.
They're also really racist.
Unfortunate quality. Let's see here. He pulls out a big tome. Puts it up. It says, yes. There's some anecdotal recordings of, it's the writing of Duergar prisoners. Several cases. Growing ill, like faint. And in fact dying after some amount of time in captivity. There's some presumption here about the relationship of the Duergar and the service being the cause. This is the only information that I have here on might be related, but by the accounts here, seems as though after merely 3 days in captivity, Duergar warriors, of course, separated from their belongings and given a regiment of dwarvish food, water, it seems. Let's see. Grew ill, and even after the application of medicinal techniques, seemed to have shown no railing progression. Interesting. And kind of just as spectacles looks at you. It says, show me this thing.
He said what?
Show me the object in question.
She's still holding it. She's actually, as he was talking through it and telling about the men dying after a few days, she starts getting a little bit upset. Her eyes are a little red and maybe a little bit watery, and she looks down at the item and she hands it over to him, sort of hesitantly.
He actually pauses as you start to hand over. Have you yet been parted with this? Perhaps just show it where I can see it. Keep it in your hand.
She gets more upset by this, and she keeps holding it and sort of walks close to him just so he can look at it.
Certainly. I can see the dwarvish influence here on the design. Matches matches some sketches here. Interesting. Well, according to these accounts, a lethal outcome would not be immediate. Perhaps experimentation is in order. Separate yourself from this item. See if you begin to,
Absolutely not.
Well, there can be no other way to determine the truth of these claims.
I don't want to experiment. Can a healer, like, a really, like a real, like, healer take it off?
Can't we go to the capital or something and find a wizard or some maid who knows these things? Like, they have magic for creating food. Don't they have magic to remove things or heal magical things?
That's certainly impossible, but right now the only thing that we know is that the dwarf told you that you're cursed.
Still upset, she just walks down to where the table is, like looks back and forth between the two of them, and then puts it on the table and takes a step back, with her eyes closed.
Ivashka! She's like immediately going to flip her sleeve down over her. Oh no, she wears gloves, so she's going to pick it up and like hand it back, try to shove it back into her hands, or put it back on her brow or something.
Yeah, she doesn't fight her. She takes it back.
Ava, is this your patient? How would you diagnose this situation?
Yeah, she looks almost a little ashamed of this, and then looks back over at Shalati and sort of like shakes her head and like holds her hand up, and then tries again, where she goes and she sets it down this time, and then like hovers her hand just over it a little bit, and then closes her fist and takes a step back, and then tries to leave her eyes open, and she's breathing a little rapidly.
Shalati is like vibrating, but she is not moving. She's sort of right next to the circle that looks about ready to snatch it up at any moment.
Tyrion kind of taps his finger, or his claw, on the book. It says, according to these accounts, nothing noticeable should occur for some hours.
I guess I could... I'll work. I guess I'll help around here.
Ah, very good. Old man Tillman was hit by a cart, and apparently was looking at the sky instead of paying attention to where he was going. We have 2 dock workers, and starts to go off into chores you need to do.
Charlotte is looking back and forth between Serendi and Ava and says, "Are you joking? This is your apprentice. This is the last one you'll have. And this is almost your own daughter. How could you do this? Even if it is a joke, we can find this out by some other way, not by maybe draining her life force away. We don't know if that happens, if it will ever come back. Maybe she just gets permanently weaker, like water out of a bucket, rather than a spring that refills. We can't risk this."
Young lady, if we acted entirely upon every mere rumor, accusation, superstition, and folktale that's told to us, now you'd be spend your whole life walking back and forth to the capital trying to be uncursed of your sore feet.
She looks distinctly unimpressed by this argument, given that she was also probably raised among sailors who are also very notably superstitious. She is going to try and pick up the circlet again and will extend it back toward Ava. So giving her the actually, no. Yeah, no, she is going to try and put it back on her head.
Ava takes the ringlet from her hands and puts it on her head and sort of like wipes her face and says, "All right, fine, I'll do the experiment, but I'll do it later. If you say there's work that needs to be done, I'll do that first. And then I'll come back, and later I'll stay in the same room and I'll just set it on the table and we can experiment that, but I'll do work now." And she just keeps wiping her face and she repeats back to him what he said needs to happen. And as she's drying her face, she's walking around the room just making sure she has all of the medical stuff that she would need to do the chores.
Fantastic. And he puts out a satchel of some herbs and things he's recently mixed and stuff like that, and sets them out and says, "If you begin to feel any ill effects at all, record this and report to me immediately."
I think Charlotte is going to bang the kettle that she's been setting and some teacups, and then says, "I told Esmond I would meet up with him, and I had to go check back on the ranch and make sure that none of the animals are panicking from the sky. Promise me you won't take it off without me around."
She sniffs and sort of nods and says, "I won't." And she looks at her gratefully.
She gives her just like a probably almost painful squeeze on the shoulder or the hand, and then is out the door. I'm heading toward the clockwork.
Okay. All right. At the Clockwork Heart, right? So I can't remember. Everyone else was going there, right? Ish, or some people at least.
Yeah, like
Could end up
Sal
in-
and Peach were gonna go look around for folks, but if we didn't find them, then we end up back there.
Okay, you'll be there, but Casey was not going there. Okay, so everyone but Ava and Casey. Yeah.
Actually, actually, before anyone decides what they do, when Esmond gets back to the Clockwork Heart, he comes in through the back of the workshop, slams the door shut behind him, locks it, does all the latches and the locks. Places his forehead against the door and just yells at the top of his lungs out of frustration, and tears start to well up and fall. He starts.
A moment later, the other door opens, and Gwen comes. Yes, runs over.
Before she has a chance to even try and console him, he's walking back and forth furiously. He takes his prosthetic off his hand, he rips it off, and he throws it against the wall where it would smash.
Boy, come down! What happened?
And he falls against a wall. He falls against a wall and slides down, and just is holding his missing hand in his other hand, and is just crying to himself, and he's not responding to Gwen, but also not pushing her away.
Yeah, she kind of half wraps you in her short arms and, "Oh, calm down, it's okay."
And Esmond's just gonna stay like that for the next hour or so.
You're in the workshop?
Yeah. If Gwen tries to move him, he won't leave the Clockwork Heart, but she could move him to the front of the shop, but he's he's basically immobile, and it's just a mess for the next hour or so.
Okay, well, we'll say, yeah, it's closest to that. You hear knock on the door, whoever arrives there.
Thanks, Mom. I gotta get that.
You need anything?
No, I just... I had to get that out of my system, I guess. Sorry. I'm okay, I promise.
Oh, and touched your cheek. It's okay. Okay. I'll make you something to eat. She turns. And then you hear another, presumably knocking on the door.
Yeah. Esmond will wipe his eyes, stand up, try and straighten himself out, and go and open the door and see who it is.
Yeah.
Shalati, you...
Over her shoulder, you see Sal and Peach on the way down the street.
Okay, so Shalati, you immediately see Esmond's eyes look really puffy. His cheeks look flushed, and a rare sight, he doesn't have his prosthetic on his right hand. It's like, hey, thanks. Can I?
Shaw looks at this, and her first instinct is to immediately just like bear hug.
Esmond doesn't reciprocate, but he doesn't push you away. It's like, yeah, okay. Thanks. I'm okay though. I'm okay.
She does like a couple of soothing pats on the shoulder, and then puts him, holds him back. Says, "It is a lot, isn't it?" She kind of glimpses outside at the hopefully now mentionably colored sky.
Yeah, the sunset is faded into a normal sky at this point.
Sunrise?
Or sorry, sunrise is faded into a normal sky.
I'm gonna be honest, I'd actually forgotten about it. And seeing Sal and Peach over your shoulder. Come in. Leave the door open. They're right behind you. And Esmond's going to walk into the shop, and he's going to dig around in a couple of drawers to find a replacement prosthetic that he has on hand. It's another really basic one, but it's just slightly newer looking, and he's going to go through the process of beginning to strap that onto his wrist.
Okay. But yeah, the Peach, Sal, you guys have arrived there. But at this point, people are no longer standing awestruck in the streets. There's sort of an uneasiness among the people, but they've begun to go about their business again. You don't hear much in the way of cheer. There aren't. You don't see kids running kind of through the streets, but carts, horses are moving. You hear a couple of barkers down near the docks. You smell food cooking near the hearth.
Did they find Kibble and Seyfried on the way?
Probably
First thing they'd
not.
say as we walked in.
Let's
No
see.
luck finding the other curse victims. Kibbeth, Seyfried, Aurea. Probably shouldn't call them curse victims.
Great. Hopefully they don't decide to toss those things into the ocean. Anyway, what's the last thing you remember?
Well, before I get into that, Kate, you were pinging, but you weren't coming through just now.
Oh, no worries. I was just trying to ask Allie if Kabeth is showing up.
I mean, I'm here. I can chime in if you want to bring me into the scene, but it's fine.
Yeah, if you guys are here to play scenes, this would be they could find you and you guys could talk. I assume the rest of the session will just be conversation.
Just me.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say that you were able to. You're able to catch Kabeth, who was delivering packages.
That completely changes the way I'd walk in. I wouldn't say anything about the curse yet.
Sure. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. To reset that, actually. Yes. In the distance. Sorry. Yeah. Over Shal's shoulder, then Esmond, you see Kabeth, Peach, and Sal. And just for convenience sake, rather than explaining everything in the street, you just were like, "Come with me. We'll go talk."
So he'll duck in and say, "We found one," and then we can start.
Don't call her a one, Salinger.
Well, she's one of the 4.
It's also
What?
it's also not totally inaccurate.
Do you have the thing? Kibeth, do you have the...
I think she's setting her audio settings.
To avoid feedback, 1 second.
And Kabeth, I'm going to send you a message. Roll20.
Did you say my name?
Yeah, I'm going to send you a message in Roll20 real quick with new information that Kabeth would have.
I guess I should actually launch the game, huh?
I'm actually going to go AFK for just 2 minutes. I will be right back.
I have to go AFK as well. I'll be right back.
Charlotte, while waiting for everyone to settle down and find themselves a comfortable spot, is going to pick up some of the cold bagels and meat pies from earlier this morning. And the Hakim heats up a little brazier, or any fires that might be banked in the corner, and starts to serve it around. Like, I think we are all a little bit freaked out, to put the saying to Victor. And then she looks at the Hakim and says, "I actually don't know that this would help any, but it's hot."
I hope you weren't talking to me because I was reading Chris's message.
No, she's basically just puttering around, trying to get food and water and stuff down people.
Yeah, the main takeaway is there is Hakim and snacks.
Bagels, if you're particular about your snacks.
Oh, starving. I have read the message. Are we waiting for everybody else?
Yeah, actually, Esmond was AFK and he's in the scene. We can just have, since we're showing our time, Esmond's just kind of in his own thoughts, and you guys can all talk.
I'm stuffing trees in my mouth.
Sate looks over at Salinger.
All right. That brooch of yours. You still got it on you.
Yeah, no, I'm keeping it.
No, you need to keep it, and that's kind of the point I'm going to get to. Nobody's taking that thing from you.
Oh no, why? Is it the magic?
Yeah, it's something to do with the magic. I kind of insisted. Didn't give us much of a choice. We go talk to the rough guts about that stuff, and they pointed out some particular properties they have that might affect you for the rest of your life, give or take.
They're cursed, they said. If you are separated from it for up to 3 days, you might die. If they're all right about it.
I might die if I'm separated from it?
Yeah, but you like it, right? So just hold on to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I don't know about the magic, but today I had a crazy experience where I was running to deliver a package and I ran faster than I've ever run before. And I ran so fast that I fell and I dropped the packages. I think I broke something, but it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's not broken. And it definitely wasn't for you, Esmond. Definitely not. I'm not sure what happened, but do you think it was the brooch?
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's awesome. Think of how if I get really really good at running and I don't trip so much, then I can be the fastest mail delivery person in the realm.
You're taking this very, very well. Very well.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is great. This is my dream. I just wanted to be really. I'm always late. I'm always late. But then if I can run really really fast, then I won't be late anymore. Why don't you guys seem excited?
I think we all just had a different takeaway from this situation, and I love the positive nature in which you're approaching this situation. Just don't ever lose it.
All right, and I won't ever lose it.
Tredin found something in one of his books that said that there were accounts of Durgar prisoners who were separated from their. Oh, the dwarf said that they were Durgar created by the dark things when they were serving dark things deep below the ground. They were cursed, and that's why they were hidden. They're not very good at hiding, though, I will say. But Toredian said that there were accounts of Durgar prisoners being separated from their belongings who wasted away and died even after 3 days, even when there was no outright mistreatment.
Well, then I'll just have to hide it on my person really, 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 really well.
If somebody tries to catch you to take it, you're going to be faster than them.
Exactly. No one's gonna catch me. It'll be fine.
I,
What do the other ones do? What?
Kibeth,
Alright.
oh boy. Okay. Have you felt anything else different about yourself since you've been wearing this brooch?
I mean, I'm starving, but I'm always hungry. But maybe it's because I ran a lot. Do I have to eat more? Oh, that's a good problem to have. I like that.
Did you notice anything different when the sun rose this morning? Like about yourself, obviously. Obviously, the sky was different, but like, did you feel strange?
I got 2 ears, 2 horns. I can run fast.
Nothing necessarily physical, emotionally, or just like a feeling in your body. Did anything seem out of place? I think is what she's asking.
Well, now that you mention it, besides just being really hungry all the time, I mean, I'm feeling more confident than I was. I mean, things just seem really good right now. I don't know.
Kibeth, Shalati, you were just with Doc. What do they think? Is it like I know the dwarves were saying that, or the accounts that you read said that 3 days they would perish. Were you guys able to run any tests while you're over there?
They're not very skeptical, and he wanted to have Ava put it ticked off and be separated from it, but he seemed to think that if anything would happen, it would take a few hours. I made her a promise not to do that until I was back.
Maybe that's what we should do. Should we head to the apothecary and just run 2 tests at the same time?
I still think this is a dumb idea because I told Tredin we don't know if this weakening thing is, if it returns their strength when it comes back to you, or if it's just like a bucket of water. You don't know if it's like a bucket of water or a spring.
How much hungrier are you, Kibeth? Is it more so than usual?
I mean, I don't know. it's hard to tell. It's only been a few hours. It hasn't even been a day yet. Ask me at the end of the day and I'll report back.
Sounds reasonable.
Also, I can't believe you guys went and talked to those grumpy old dwarves. Man, were they really mean to you? Because they seem so mean.
Yes, they were actually. They were mean and racist.
They're not all bad.
Yeah, we weren't really given much of a choice to go speak with them.
Grim said that
Just never said anything.
if he could figure out something else, if he could think of anything else that might help, he would come and tell us. I also told him that if we found out anything else or saw anything change in our friends who wore them, we would tell him.
The only thing I could think to do is to go speak with.
Let him out.
The only thing I could
Workshop
think
pet trying to get in.
The only thing I can think to do is to go speak with Gilgain. Maybe there are some more history books that we can find, or books of mythology that might be able to give us more information.
Anyway, he will want to hear that the rough gods didn't know anything about the sky.
True, but I'm also not entirely sure they were. They told us everything. Despite circumstances, they told us a lot, but it still feels like they were holding something back.
I think if this is a real thing, then we need to go to the capital and find a magus who knows a lot more than the people in our town. Maybe it doesn't have to be the capital, maybe just whatever the name of the nearest city is.
But after the celebration, aren't we gonna get sent to the tower in the north anyways? And, I mean, we can't just be like, hey, no, sorry, we gotta go on this thing instead. See you later.
Honestly, actually, maybe that would be the place to go. Because if most of the military is there, then a lot of the wisdom workers and people who know things will be there too, no?
Honestly, I don't care about the war front. If you and Araya and the others aren't danger, that's what I'm concerned about right now.
Sure, but I am saying, we could just leave early and go there, or before our name day, go to one of the cities and see if we can find any more answers. Well, then she looks kind of in the direction where the ranch is supposed to be and then falls silent.
Yeah, that's. We need to do research before we start even talking about considering ideas like that. I think there's too much unknown at the moment still.
Well, I'm done delivering packages for the day. So if you want me to show you how fast I can run, I can run all the way up to the ruins and back, and then over to mines, and then come back to here, and then meet you at the workshop, and then go back over there again.
I don't think. No, I don't think you should be using that magic right now either.
What if I just run a room and see what happens?
No, Kibeth.
What happens?
Is it not sinking in that you could die or something?
Well, you said I would die if I got separated from the brooch, but it's on me right now, and so therefore I'm not in danger.
But we don't know everything about it. It could also be that if you use its magic, that could steal away your life as well. We don't know anything about any of these things.
What happens if you take it off for a minute?
Well, you were against experimenting with them.
And says, "Here, you want to hold it?"
No, just put it down somewhere else on the table.
No, I don't want to put it on the table. What if somebody knocks it down, takes it, she puts it back in her pocket? Later we could try that.
What if you stand right next to it and all of us will stand away and you can put it down for 10 seconds?
Let's do that in a private place. I don't.
Let's do that with Doc and Teridian. They're better equipped for monitoring stuff like that, I think.
Charlotte is going to lean over to Salinger and whisper, if when Aurea took off the ring, it got rid of her invisibility, and then it didn't come back immediately. Maybe this weird energy, foolhardiness, will also leave, and perhaps she will get a better idea of what she might actually feel.
It's a fair assumption, but I don't know. It all seems like kind of a stretch. We don't know anything about this stuff. He whispers that back, then he says to Ez real quick, not looking him straight in the eye, just kind of saying in his direction. Research seems like the logical first step. Scott, maybe there's something on Durga history back there that we weren't taught about. It's a starting point instead of playing with what these magic items do or don't do.
I mean, if there's anything the dwarf said is any percentage of accurate, there's a history that we're just not at all aware of, which I wouldn't be surprised by, but we there's a lot that needs to be done right now, and I'm the way that they said tiefling earlier as well makes me really concerned for Rhea. Guys, I think we should find her as soon as we can.
We never did. If you think they are still hiding things, we never did look down the other tunnel either.
You are not thinking about going back in that mine. You are. You're thinking about going back in that mine.
Let's put that idea on the back burner for now, at least. I think the more pressing matters are researching the history of dwarves, the Drugar, and experimenting on these items if we can.
What did they say about tieflings?
They didn't say anything. It was the way he said it. Elves and tieflings, especially tieflings.
She's our friend. We'll look after her.
Meanwhile, if you guys are done with this scene, I have one I was going to do. Okay. Ava.
I'm here.
You've already bound a sprained ankle. You've cleaned, stitched up a cut. Someone had done. You're on your way to the hearth. When you come around the corner, and you catch out of the corner of your eye something that pulls your attention. You see the town mayor, Sheriff Hain, several of the town fabricators and givers all standing together having some sort of heated conversation. You see Teacher Gilgain sitting on the edge of the hearth. He's holding his spectacles in his hand. His head's kind of low.
Ava pauses for a second, sort of gripping the satchel across her chest, and sort of just looks with her eyes back and forth at the group observing. And she kind of like grips it a little bit tighter, and then just starts sort of approaching the group, and is just going to sort of try to join the little circle and listen as she approaches.
Yeah, as you begin to approach, you see Gilgain glances up at you. You kind of make eye contact for a second. You see him, shakes his head, gestures you over to him.
She sort of slows just a little bit in her walking, sort of looks to the other group and looks to him, sort of then changes pathways and starts walking towards him.
Yeah. It's best you don't bother them trying to figure out what to do, how to handle this, how long it might last, what our plan should be if it doesn't change.
You mean the sun?
Oh, you haven't heard?
Heard what?
Sit down. Sit down, lass.
She sits down and looks up at him. She's got with her big white doe eyes.
He's sitting on the hearth. He's about at your height, and he reaches out and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, you'll probably want to check your magic too. Fabricators, the givers, the magic doesn't work anymore.
She just sort of scrunches her face and looks at him quizzically. Sort of turns her head and shakes a little bit and says, what do you mean it doesn't work? What?
The fabricators, the givers, the magic that they use to repair our walls, to build, to make food, doesn't work. Doesn't work. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
We broke magic. Before we even got character levels, we broke the magic.
Are you fucking kidding me, Chris? I need my magic. I'm literally magic.
Well, you'll have to do some experimentation. See what's going on.
Oh, man.
The snake immediately bites Shalati. She's like, what the fuck?
All right, well, I gotta hit it, but this was amazing. So much fun, everybody.
Sleep, Kate.
Good night.
It was fun.